Yo, good morning. How everybody feeling out there? As you know, because I said time after time again, it's your player partner Bobby WAJ. And I am going to allow YouTube to do what it is that YouTube does and send out those notifications, give me an algorithm, so on and so forth. And we have a very interesting topic of discussion today. Trump's big, beautiful bill, birthright citizenship, and more. And how does this affect the hood? How does this affect the poor? These are things that we need to start talking about. These are issues that we need to start addressing immediately, like yesterday type shit. Anthony Covington, what's the deal? Carter G. Blank, what's the deal? West the road, cuz man, super cool and like a deep freezer. Just trying to, create some thought-provoking content because shit is about to get real, as we know, as we have known that shit is about to get real. But the thing is, in light of everything that's going on, where do we stand in the grand scheme of things? Niggas like to get on the internet and talk about this and talk about all this counterproductive shit. In the words of my player upon it, all this counter revolutionary type shit. But when we have these type of pressing issues that affect your grandmother, your grandfather, your mother, your father, anybody that's a working class citizen that comes from where we come from. And for some of us who have family members that's on AFDC, county aid, DPSS, government support, this shit affects all of us. And in a lot of our people in our community, we sat back idly and we let all this shit play out before our very eyes, and never have we collectively came together to take a stand to try to minimize some of the damage that can be done when all these things cascade upon us. But we can come on here and we can talk about how the homie unalived this person, how we was in jail doing this, how we was on the street degrading our women and leaving our kids, neglecting our parental responsibilities. Like we done did all that shit. We're experts in it. When you think about the word bitch in America, nasty bitch, funky bitch, dirty bitch, unloyal bitch, distrustful bitch, poor bitch, broke bitch, freaky bitch, why do they always associate that with the black woman? How the fuck do we change that narrative? It's a lot of things that we need to come together and start changing. When you think about the word poor, when you think about the word lazy citizens, they don't think about no other race but us. We have sit back idly and allow people to create propaganda against us. That's damaging to our representation, that's damaging to our identity and who we are as a people. We can't sit back idly no more because shit is about to hit the motherfucking fan. When I was a kid, man, and this how long this shit been going on, man. My grandmama passed away in like 95, 96. And she forewarned me about times where the rich get richer and the poor get poor. Have y'all not heard that before? Do you not see this shit playing out before our very eyes? The rich is going to get richer and the poor is going to get poor. How much poorer can we get? You see a lot of these real estate companies is buying up all the land. They'll buy this house next to this house, and what they'll do, they'll put an apartment complex. Now, when you look in Los Angeles, New York is very condensed. And it's so condensed that they couldn't build out, so they had to build up. Do you not see that in Los Angeles? When I was a kid, man, it was a rare thing to see a 3-story apartment complex, a 4-story apartment complex, a 5-story apartment complex in Los Angeles. This is the truth. Think about it, especially coming from South Central, Compton, Watts. The apartments over there on Broadway and Colden, they like what, 3 or 4 stories? That was some shit that people like, man, I want to move in them because they was different. You don't go through you wasn't going throughout Los Angeles and saying 3, 4, 5, 6-story apartment complexes. Now they building them because LA is so congested that they have to condense it, and instead of building out, you have to build up. Now they come in with these bills and these requirements and them pushing the line on homelessness. So they're making more apartments, but they're not making apartments, or they're not putting you in a position to where you can own your own property. We got an apartment for you. Low income housing, Section 8 housing, government housing. They get us into these housings, right? Just like when our people came out to Watts, we was coming from being homeowners, property owners, landowners, and we moved into projects and we became content. It's not right for the next generations for a nigga mama for a nigga grandmama to die in the projects, cuz that's a major disservice to the family unit. Whatever the fuck we gotta do to make sure grandmama get a house, grandmama's supposed to die in a house that we own and we own to this day. But a lot of motherfuckers, they didn't understand the assignment, homie, and they blew the bag. Especially when we start selling the grandmamas and the granddaddies who did have some game about themselves and secured property for their family. Motherfucker sold that shit. They done lost the family property. Niggas grandmamas is down in a government housing projects. If you ain't on a lease and your nana or your pawpaw die inside of a government housing projects, you gotta go. That shit is a major disservice to the family. So what they trying to do now is get you not to be a person that's aspiring to own your own home. You don't gotta own your own home. We got free housing over here. We got subsidized housing over here, and we continuously fall for this motherfucking banana in the tailpipe. But when you die, if a person is not on a lease, then you got to get the fuck up out of here. We gotta reclaim ownership of that rental space. They're building all these low income housings to make the transition from being housed to homeless easier on you. Because they put you in these low income housings that's funded by the federal government. Then the federal government, Trump comes with this shit called the Big Beautiful Bill, and we got to cut HUD funding. So now all these beautiful ass apartments that they just constructed to help you, right? To give you some assistance, now they got to throw you out. Now you're back in the streets. And if you wasn't in the streets before, now you in the streets. Now you trying to figure this shit out. Now you thinking like, damn, I got to get my own, when we should be proactive instead of reactive and start doing what the fuck we got to do to put ourselves in a position of independency. But what I want to do, man, I want to provide some informative content with the correct context of what the Big Beautiful Bill is. Let's get into that. Because shit is about to hit the fan. And instead of us coming together and saying, damn, man, it's about to go down, shit is getting crazy, we're finding more reasons to separate ourselves from one another. If we can't organize, then we can't mobilize when shit hit the fan. And I'm going to tell you this. When I was just recently detained, right? I'm reading in the newspaper that the federal government was requesting the gang database from various cities in the state of California. Those various cities say, man, didn't y'all say that this shit was unethical? Didn't y'all say that this shit wasn't just? It was unconstitutional? No, we ain't giving you our shit. We gonna lock it up, and we gonna change the shit to where we only have access to it. Why you think they was trying to get the documented gang members? Don't they call it street terrorists? Isn't Trump creating relationships with countries over there in Africa, countries down there in Central America, to where if you're considered a terrorist or you a certain type of criminal, we just gonna send your ass down there. We gonna deport you, or we gonna send you to either Africa, or we gonna send you to the super prison down there in El Salvador. We don't want to deal with the likes of you no more. But niggas ain't even catching on, and niggas don't even see that, yes, after they get through with the Hispanics, then we may be the next targets. This is the truth. When the Hispanics say, y'all niggas next, we know. So being that we know, why aren't we getting ready? See, when he just did this shit to the Latino community, the Hispanic community, right? And he showed them, y'all ain't white. They just recently showed everybody where everybody stands with one another. And it's us, instead of us coming together, unifying, organizing, in case we got to mobilize, in case we got to go on an exodus, in case we got to get out here and forage for food and resources and so on and so forth, We creating, especially as content creators coming out of Los Angeles, we're looking for additional reasons to separate one another and put further division in between us when we should be finding ways to bring this shit together. Man, you niggas is dumb as fuck. But I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. Since I've been in this YouTube space, in these YouTube streets, and my content is unorthodox in comparison to my peers, you about to see a lot of niggas get on some borderline revolutionary type shit. You about to see more of these content creators because they done told all the stories about how we unalive each other. They done told all the stories about being in jail, and the shit is becoming repetitive to the point to where it's boring now. Excuse me. Hold on. Please forgive me. I'm live doing a broadcast and I don't want to record our phone, but I don't want my audience to leave. I'm like in the middle of a live. Would I be able to call you? Would you be able to call me back in maybe like an hour, or I'll call you back in maybe an hour?
Yeah, I'll give you a call back in an hour.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate you, brother. God bless you. Man, the blessings of the Most High God is raining down. No matter what you're doing, keep going hard at what you're doing, and in the right time, in the appropriate season, people's gonna see you and they're gonna offer you opportunities. But getting back to what I'm saying, a lot of these content creators, respectfully, is gonna start biting my shit. They already been biting my shit. Now they about to start biting it, and they're gonna try to present themselves as being conscious, revolutionary, as if they are informed about politics and the governings that's governing it, and the governings are the government that's governing us. A lot of niggas is about to switch lanes and switch gears and start trying to be more like Bobby A. Because a lot, and I'm not saying this from an egotistical standpoint, I'm saying this from a point of realism and realization. A lot of your favorite content creators come and watch my content, and then they duplicate my content but don't give no credit. On Steve, I'm telling you what's real. So be prepared to see a lot of more of these niggas talking about topics and issues that I'm talking about and that I'll be addressing. But without further ado, let's get to the nitty gritty and see what the fuck is this big beautiful plant, this big beautiful bill that they have on a Senate floor right now that they voting on right now. And off top, they already let you know, listen, it's gonna be a cut to certain government aid. First and foremost, food stamps. Some of us has become too dependent upon that shit. If they cut food stamps, and these sisters and some and brothers as well, because it's brothers that's on government aid as well. So let's not sugarcoat it and make it seem like it's just the sisters. But when these individuals in our community can't afford food, can't get food, as black men, what the fuck is we gonna do? How do we pool our resources to make sure that every woman and child can eat? WIC program started by the Black Panther political party, bid by the government, and that was a way of them appeasing black folks as they launched an attack on getting rid of the Black Panther political party. I'ma feed you. They got this program feeding y'all kids. All right, for sure. I can replicate that. I can feed you, but them niggas gotta go. How the fuck is we gonna provide for ourselves and our women and children with these proposed budget cuts under the big beautiful bill? Let's get into it, man. It's time for us to start thinking, cuz, on Crib. Let me see. I think this is it right here. Bear with me. Nope, that ain't it.
I'm on Capitol Hill, where the self-imposed deadline for President Donald Trump's so-called big, beautiful bill,
everybody calls it one big, beautiful bill,
is fast approaching. And this is the key legislative priority for both the president and his Republican Party. So this is what's in the bill if it's passed. Tax cuts for individuals would be extended, and there'd also be some new tax breaks for tipped workers and some senior citizens. There's also more money in here for border security and the military. But the sticking point right now up here on Capitol Hill is the high cost, estimated around $3 trillion. And in order to pay for this, the Republicans are having to come up with some spending cuts. And this is causing a problem for some lawmakers. Republicans are considering some cuts to the low-income health care program, Medicaid, also to some key food assistance programs as well. Democrats say that this bill is a giveaway to the rich, so they do not support this bill. So the Republicans are trying to do this all on their own, and they are trying to get everyone in agreement before the fireworks fly on Independence Day, because they set a deadline for July 4th.
What y'all think about that? That quick clip right there. What you think about that? What you feel about that? You got to feel something. You got to feel something about that because it directly affects us. We haven't did enough studying upon these groups who govern over us. The Democrats want niggas to be eaten out of the palms of their hands. Here, I can feed you. Y'all feed us. Y'all give us AFDC and all these programs to where we don't have to work, put forth an effort, and be proactive so that you can maintain that black vote. While the Republicans saying, listen, my nigga, I can give you a little something, but I can't feed you all the time. But I can tell you how to get a job. I can create additional jobs for you. Republicans are saying, listen, homie, if you want to get it, I can make sure you get it, but you got to have the ability. You got to have the desire and the motivation to go get it, and you can have it. That's the difference as it pertains to black folks with the Democrats and the Republicans. The Democrats want you to still be slaves. The Democrats still want you to eat out the palm of their hands so they can pat you on the head and tell you, good boy. The Republicans want you to get your own. Nigga, get it out the mud. Nigga, if you can get it out the mud, we gonna let you get it. Even if we dissect and we explore and analyze history, a lot of black cities, a lot of black towns, a lot of black villages that was self-sufficient and independent, who burnt them motherfuckers down? They couldn't see the niggas doing better than them. So the Democrats went into Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and burnt that shit down and took the land, seized the land for themselves. But as I have always said, man, it's a two-headed dragon. You got to make a decision on who you support, who you don't support, and if we should not support nobody at all. Because the Black Panther political party was saying that we need representation that adequately talks about and present the plight of black people, the things that affect black people as a whole. But let's get into this next video. Let's explore what the big, beautiful plan is.
Signature proposal was Build Back Better, truly bipartisan idea. Is it lens I won't pretend to understand? In an age when the only truly bipartisan idea is that landmark legislation demands triple B alliteration. President Joe Biden's signature proposal was Build Back Better. Now President Trump has yoked his presidency, yoked all of us, to his
big, beautiful, that gorgeous, big, beautiful bill.
Let me suggest another name for it. I'll even stay on trend. The big budget bomb. I'm recording this on Wednesday, May 21st. It's always possible things will change.
It is Thursday, May 22nd. It is 7:01 on the East Coast, and we've got breaking news. Moments ago, the House just passed President Trump's big, beautiful bill.
The bill is passed.
President Trump with this reaction. Now it's time for our friends in the United States Senate to get to work and send the bill to my desk as soon as possible.
But as of right now, the damage this thing will do to the budget if it detonates is hard to properly convey, in part because the size of this thing is hard to properly convey. And the budget, to be honest, is only where the problems this bill would cause begin. When you're thinking about the size and cost of legislation, you got two different sides to keep in mind. How much the bill costs, either through new spending or tax cuts, and how much of that cost is paid for versus added to the debt. The Inflation Reduction Act was expected to cost about $500 billion over 10 years, and it paid for that spending and more through tax increases. The Affordable Care Act was expected to cost about $1 trillion over 10 years. All of that, again, paid for. Trump's 2017 tax reform bill, when you added everything up, left an estimated $1.5 trillion of tax cuts unpaid for. The big budget bomb exists in a class unto itself. According to the Committee for Responsible Federal Budget, which I think nowadays is Washington's saddest advocacy group, if you take seriously the permanence the Republicans are actually seeking, the big budget bomb will add about $5 trillion to the debt over the next decade. $5 trillion. That is an insane number. You remember when Trump promised to balance the budget?
I want to do what has not been done in 24 years, balance the federal budget. We're going to balance it.
I also remember that. That happened in March. I've been talking about what the bill does to the budget. But here's what this bill does in the real world. It cuts taxes, mostly for richer people. It cuts Medicaid and food stamps. Republicans are also allowing some Obamacare subsidies to expire. And so the estimate is that between all this, 13 million people, 13 million, will lose health insurance. It's also grimly exact. The bill has $1.1 trillion in tax cuts for people who make more than $500,000 a year. And it has $1.1 trillion in cuts to Medicaid and food stamps. It is a straight transfer from people who cannot afford food and medical care to people who can afford to fly first class. The bill also guts the tax credits that support the wind, solar, electric vehicle, and nuclear power industries. China will be thrilled by that. When you think about this bill, you should think about risk. This bill increases our risk of a fiscal crisis. What if all these other countries we're alienating, all these investors who've been scaring, stop buying our debt even as we are creating trillions more in debt we're going to need them to buy? This bill increases the risk any of us face if we can't afford healthcare or food for our families. If Trump's tariffs cause a recession, this bill gutted the safety net millions of us would have relied on for help. It pumps tens of billions of dollars into ICE detention facilities and deportation capacity. And so it raises the risk faced by immigrants or anyone else caught up in the administration's mass deportation and detention operations. Look, I've been a policy journalist for more than 20 years. I've covered more bills than I can count. I cannot remember a crueler or more irresponsible piece of domestic legislation that has been seriously proposed. And its sins are compounded by its size. If the Republicans' big budget bomb goes off, we are all in the blast radius.
It is there, right? I don't feel like he did a good job in explaining exactly what the big beautiful bill is, but he did say that it's so big that don't nobody really know what the fuck the big beautiful bill is, because it's so big. This bill is the biggest bill that they didn't ever had in history, to where motherfuckers is having a hard time going all the way through it. Birthright citizenship is what I want to talk about now. They created something back in the days when those who identify as descendants of slaves, right? Back when the slaves, when the melanated carbonated people were enslaved in this country, once they got out of slavery, they was wondering, what the fuck do we do with all these slaves? Some of the slaves had the idea of going back. Some of the slaves like, what we gonna do? So they created something. They created a bill or some type of legislation or whatnot, giving automatic citizenship to those who were freed from slavery. If you're born here, we fucking with you. It's almost like if you're born in the PJs, you from PJs. If you're born in the Hoovers, you from Hoover. If you're born in the 6-0s, you from 6-0. We giving you automatic citizenship. Upon hearing this, a lot of people from Mexico and Central America They say if we can just get to American soil and have our babies there, our babies would be automatic citizens, and then that'll put us in position to where we can stay. And that became a problem. Since the Hispanic population has continued to grow and grow and grow and grow and expand, now it's having a problem on the quality of life for individuals who are actual citizens. I mean, I sympathize with them, I empathize with them, but no, man, we can't continue to allow this individuals to get impregnated in Mexico and these Central American countries, South American countries, and saying, if I can just get over the border and have this baby, my baby will be a citizen, and I got to stay over there to take care of my baby. If I can just get over the border and have this baby, no, fuck that, because it has depreciated the quality of life for us. Since Trump has been doing these ICE raids and deporting these illegal immigrants, now you see that there's a depreciation in the cost of rent. Typically, an apartment in Los Angeles and in various parts, various cities throughout Los Angeles County, for a 2-bedroom, how much you paying? Put it in the chat. I really want to know this. I want to get some engagement going on. For a 2-bedroom in Los Angeles and various cities throughout Los Angeles County, how much is you paying for a 2-bedroom apartment? Give it 10 seconds. Akita 7 times TX, and I don't even think this brother from Cali. He said in between 18 to 2,500. How about in between 18 to 3,200 for a 2-bedroom apartment in Los Angeles and various cities throughout Los Angeles County? But now, if you go on Zillow, if you go on rent.com, if you go to 123 Rent, Rent Cafe, and so on and so forth, now they have apartments on there for a 2-bedroom, 1,400. I seen it as low as 1,300. The highest, depending on what area of Los Angeles or which city you're trying to stay in, the highest that I seen in regards to with the recent reductions is like 1,900, 1,800 for a 2-bedroom. So the rental cost is depreciating because now you got to rent to the blacks. Now you got to make it affordable because the illegal immigrants that didn't mind paying this outrageous price, and being that it was a higher demand for apartments and residency and all that, now that shit is going down. So now you got to come up off them high-ass astronomical rent prices. Out here in Las Vegas where I stay at, right? I just went to Superior the other night on PJ Watts. When I went in that Superior, homie, it was damn near like a ghost town. Now, and I'm just speaking for Las Vegas, Nevada. I just came from LA too. Y'all just seen me in Lancaster and all that. Now the traffic is starting to be not as congested as it typically is. So it's certain perks, it's certain benefits that American citizens can enjoy by the Trump administration sending the illegal immigrants back. Now, my opinion upon his birthright citizenship, right? I don't think that it should be something to where if Jose or Javier was born here, right, under the birthright citizenship 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, I'm hoping that the Trump administration don't go get Javier as a 20, 30, 40-year-old man and deport him back. How? All he knows is America. I feel like it's something that should start happening now. No longer can you come over here, have birth on our soil, and you or your child get citizenship. No, not no more. Not no more. We're going to stop that shit. Because it's the black people that pay the biggest piper. It's the black people that gotta feel the full force of the blow. It's us that's suffering from this shit. And it was us that voted in favor of these immigrants or these individuals coming over here illegally to have and enjoy certain rights that we had. And once they got over here and they got on their feet, they turned their backs on us and stabbed us in the back. These is meaningful conversations. This is some real shit. This is shit that we need to be talking about and addressing. I'm gonna read some Then I'm gonna get up off here. I'm gonna read the comments and I'm gonna get up off here. Like, you know what I mean? I ain't trying to stay too long because I still got to double back and do a part 2 to interminority relationships between blacks and Asians. You know, I did a segment on that segment that I did in regards to Munchie B. You know, it transitioned into us talking about one of the brothers asked me, do I look at Asian Crips as Crips? Yes, I do look at Asian Crips as Crips. They pushing Crips. One of the brothers responded, but when they go into correctional institutions, they don't ride Crip, they ride other. That's understandable too. Why do the Asian Crips ride other when they go into these correctional institutions? That's another topic. We're going to get into this because we need to start identifying, once we organize and be in a position to where we can mobilize, who's potential allies and who are adversaries. We need to start having these conversations because no man and no specific group is an island unto themselves. But let's get back to this big, beautiful bill. I want to put a disclaimer out there. Forgive my reading. I was in special ed for most of my life. So I'll be reading out of CBS News, who did a segment upon the Washington Post. Senate Republicans released the latest version of President Trump's massive spending and tax bill late Friday as the GOP eyes an ambitious July 4th deadline to approve the centerpiece legislation of the president's second term agenda. After the House narrowly approved the legislation that addresses the president's tax, defense, border, energy properties last month, and you got to pay attention to Border Patrol and them funding the military. They're giving additional money to the military. As I have told you all before, that the top scientists of the world came together and they had a meeting with the government, right? The governments of the world, different countries. And they said, we have the ability to move into a tier 1 civilization. The biggest impediment to that is the population is too big. We have to reduce the population. So there's going to be a lot of different measures. There's going to be a lot of different plans that they're going to create to reduce the population. And one of the things right now is mass deportation. Trump is going hard on mass deportation. His administration said they're not letting up. So he got another, 3.5 years? And he's going to be deporting individuals for the next 3.5 years. Once they're all deported, the quality of life becomes better for us. But at what cost to us? Because they still got to reduce the population so they can usher in this tier 1 civilization, their version of a new heaven and a new earth. If we're going to get down to the nitty gritty, let's just stand on the surface. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. Why is they aggressively pushing the shit that they're pushing? But I digress. After the House narrowly approved the legislation that addresses the president's tax, defense, border, and energy priorities last month, Senate Republicans have been putting their imprint on the bill, but GOP leaders are seeking a middle ground to appease the upper chamber without alienating House Republicans, who will have to approve the Senate changes before the bill can head to the president's desk for his signature. The state voted Saturday to advance the measure, overcoming a key hurdle as the upper chamber works towards final passage, and we will vote on amendments and then the overall bill on Monday. They're doing that right now. After the center of the bill is an extension to Mr. Trump's 2017 Tax Cut and Jobs Act, slated to sunset at year's end, seeking to make the cuts permanent and what has been a key priority for Senate Republicans. It also includes increased spending for border security, defense, energy production, which are offset in part by cuts to health care and nutrition programs. Medicaid, medical insurance has been a big thing since the Obama administration was in office, to where they was trying to say it to where they don't care how serious your injury is. If you don't have some form of medical care, that even these county facilities don't have to see you because you don't have medical care. When you talk about that and you not being able to be seen by county facilities that's supposed to be able to render care to those who are coming from destitute communities and conditions. So you mean to tell me this motherfucker could be having a heart attack, and being that he don't have health insurance, you ain't got to see him? This motherfucker can be bleeding out from a GSW, a gunshot wound, or a staff wound, but being that they don't have medical insurance, you ain't got to see them? That's crazy. But this is what was going on with the Obama administration that we missed because we don't take the time to better understand politics and how they pertain to us. But let's get back into it. So they about to cut Medicaid. So that tooth that's been hurting you for some months, if you got medical insurance under the government, under some type of, TANF or government funded medical insurance, health insurance, go get that shit taken care of. Whatever you need to get taken care of right now, you need to go do that shit right now because they about to give substantial cuts to medical insurance that's funded by the government. Forgive me. Nutrition programs, that's SNAPs. Supplemental nutrition or whatever it means, that's food stamps. We call it food stamps. EBT cards, drastic cuts is coming to that. But we already seen that. We already knew this was coming. When they start trying to implement these rules to where you can't buy seafood on your EBT card, you can't buy junk food on your EBT card. We already knew certain restrictions was coming, and they've been talking about cutting the funding that funds food stamps, the SNAP program. But along with different dynamics in the Senate, Republicans have also been contending with input from the Senate's rule keeper, known as the parliamentarian. She has been weighing in on the bill's components to determine whether they may fly under the reconciliation process, which allows the GOP to move forward with the bill without any support from across the aisle. Remember what I was telling y'all? That the Republicans and the Democrats is fighting amongst themselves so that one of them can be the head of the United States government. They tired of sharing power. They tired of being in disagreements with one another. We want to govern a country like this. No, man, fuck that. We want to do it like this. No, man, fuck that. We prefer to do it like this. No, that's some bullshit. We prefer to do it like this. So now they're trying to seize control. One of them is trying to make the other one irrelevant. And the Republicans is showing you that they don't give a fuck about the Democrats. When Trump just did what he did to Iran, he ain't even consult with the Democrats. He hollered at a few Republicans like, hey, my nigga, look, this is what I'm about to do. What y'all feel about that? Big dog. If that's what you want, we on what you want. All right, for sugar there. But what about now, nigga, we gonna keep it amongst ourselves. Nigga, fuck them. The whole mission right now, the whole agenda is to make them obsolete. Nigga, this Republican game. Shoot them motherfuckers over there. So you see them battling it out. You see what's going on. You see what Governor Gavin Newsom has to say about Trump and what Trump has to say about Gavin Newsom. We ain't never seen this type of circus show in United States government politics. We ain't never seen this shit before. But let's get back into it. She has been weighing in on the bill's components to determine whether they may fly under the reconciliation process, which allows the GOP to move forward with the bill without any support from across the aisle. That's the Democrats. Here's what's in the Senate updated version of the big, beautiful bill, some of which remains in flux. Medicaid restrictions. So we about to find out what they about to do with the Medicaid program. Legislation includes restrictions on Medicaid, which provides government-sponsored health care for low-income and disabled Americans. Like the House passed bill, the legislation imposed work requirements for some able-bodied adults and more frequent eligibility checks. So in order to get Medicaid, you got to get your ass up off your ass and go get a job. If this is what they pushing, then why not be proactive instead of reactive and just get up and go get you a motherfucking job right now if you able-bodied and get your motherfucking health insurance through your job. It'll be better for you. I digress. Let's get back on topic. But the Senate parliamentarians determined that a measured cut in federal funds to states that use Medicaid infrastructures to provide health care coverage to undocumented immigrants, along with banning Medicaid from covering gender transition services, isn't in compliance with Senate rules. So all you individuals that's on this new age shit that feel like your son at the age of 12 years old, or this grown man, you know, he feels like a woman, so he want to go get his junk chopped off, and he want to begin the process of putting more estrogen in his body to reduce the testosterone production. They ain't covering that shit no more. They tired of it. They speaking out against, and they saying, no, we're not footing a bill for that shit. The parliamentarian also weighed in on the provider tax, which states used to help fund their portion of Medicaid costs, in a blow to the Senate GOP's initial plan. Senate Republicans have proposed steeper cuts to Medicaid funding, in part by incrementally lowering provider taxes. So if individuals, they're trying to, I'm going to just stick to topic, forgive me, lowering provider taxes from 6% to 3.5% by 2032. The timeline is delayed by 1 year from the Senate GOP's initial proposal. After the issue became one of the bill's sticking points in the Senate in recent weeks, it's a departure from the House-passed bill, which sought to lower federal costs by freezing states' providers' taxes at current rates and prohibiting them from establishing new provider taxes. The bill also includes a rural hospital stabilization fund, after some GOP senators expressed concerns over how rural hospitals could be impacted by the Medicaid restriction, allocating $25 billion for rural hospitals over the same period that the provider taxes would be lowered. Second part, increasing the state and local tax deduction for our salt. I'm going to read this one, and then I'm going to let y'all do the research upon yourself, because I'm getting kind of tired of reading. Increased state and local tax deductions are sought. The package also includes an increase to the cap on the state and local tax deduction, raising it from $10,000 to $40,000. After 5 years, it would return to $10,000, a departure from the House-passed bill. The issue was a major sticking point in the House, where blue state Republicans threatened to withhold their support without the increase to the deduction. But with no Republicans hailing from blue states in the Senate, the upper chamber has been contending with its own dynamics. Before the rule, taxpayers could deduct all their state and local taxes from their federal taxes, which some policymakers have said mainly benefits wealthy homeowners in states with high taxes such as New York and California. But advocates for increasing the caps argue that $10,000 cap is increasingly impacting middle-class homeowners who live in regions where property taxes are rising. Restrictions on food stamps. I gotta cover this one. The Senate bill still shifts the cost of the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, also known as SNAP, or food stamps, to some states. The program is currently fully funded by the federal government. The federal government would continue to fully fund the benefits for states that have an error payment rate below 6% beginning in 2028. States with error rates above 6% would be on the hook for 5% to 15% of the cost. States are also given flexibility in calculating their share. However, Alaska and Hawaii would receive temporary exemption from the cost sharing requirement. So now, the federally funded food stamp program, the federal government is saying, hey, we need for the state to step in. We're going to cover this percent, but we need y'all to foot the rest of the bill if you want your citizens to still be able to receive food stamp benefits. Both states receive a 2-year reprieve if the Department of Agriculture determines they are actively implement a corrective action plan. The package also aligns with the White House version on an age requirement for able-bodied adults to qualify for SNAP benefits. Currently, in order to qualify, able-bodied adults between 18 and 54 must meet work requirements. Both the Senate and House bill would update the age requirement to 18 to 64 with some exemptions for parents. Alaska and Hawaii could also receive waivers for the work requirement if it's determined that they are making a good faith effort to comply. Addressing the debt limit. The legislation would, y'all can read that shit on your own. Just go check it out. And let's have some meaningful dialogue about it. I'm gonna drop this in a chat. And if anybody want to come and correct me on some of my views and some of the things that I've been sharing, now is the time to do so. Speak now to forever hold your peace. That's all I'm saying. Hold on. So I got that in the chat. I'm gonna read some of these comments. I want to send a shout out to Watts District. Watts District, what's the deal? Much love to you and yours. You feel what I'm saying? I don't know who you is, but I see my city, community, district. I see my city advertised on your page. It's an abundance of love from me to you. You feel what I'm saying? That one guy says the Trump administration is not cutting Medicaid. They're changing the rules and cutting off all non-Americans. Appreciate that one guy. Freedom Boulevard says, top of the morning, brother. Brother Demetrius Dupree, a very insightful individual, says, what he's saying, and both sides are riding together. Don't be fooled. This is a partnership between both deep sides. Brother, if you have the time and the ability, I'd like for you to come on and expound upon that. What he's saying is both sides are riding together. Don't be fooled. This is a partnership between both deep sides. I would love to hear more of this from you, Kim, folks. And I'd love for you to come on and introduce the people to your podcast, the Ghetto Conspiracy Podcast. Y'all make sure y'all get over there and follow my player partner, Demetrius Dupree, aka Comedian Dupree, and subscribe to the Ghetto Conspiracy Podcast. Chris Allen said, and the credit issuing bank is part of the World Economic Forum. Let me see. Chris Allen says they've been applying for credit cards at Gap, Old Navy, and Banana Republic without social security numbers. ICE needs to hit them stores up. Interesting. Akita 7 times says New World Order. Yeah, most definitely. We're watching the first stages. Well, not even the first stages no more. We're watching the implementation of the New World Order. That's all that this shit is. Inform yourself on what the New World Order is. Anthony Covington says deportation is a business. I would like to hear more about that. How is deportation a business? Hakeem Hulu says, laughing my ass off. How does Baby Love feel about this? I don't know. Where is Baby Love? I haven't seen Baby Love as of late. Brother Demetrius Dupree says information is key, King. Give it to him. Anthony Covington says resources will put pressure on folks. Brother Chris Allen says, oh, we got my player partner, man. Hold on, man. Let me bring my partner on here, man. A brother who has a wealth of knowledge, man. Y'all give ear to what the amazing brother say about the recent situations. My amazing brother, how are you?
What's up, family? Top of the morning, man.
Top of the morning. Top of the morning. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on here, man. It's a great topic.
Thanks for being on here, brother. I want to ask you a quick question. You is an individual that has did a lot of traveling, that has met a lot of individuals. Before we get into this, right, I want to ask you, what do you believe is the relationships between blacks and Asians? I'm just saying, cuz.
Shit, it depends on who we talking about.
There we go. It depends on who we talking about. Because a lot of people are using broad generalizations saying Asians don't fuck with blacks. The Koreans don't really fuck with us. The Chinese really look down on us as if we are nothing. And the Japanese have a similar way of perceiving us. You feel what I'm saying? But when we talk about the Cambodians, the Filipinos, the Southeast Asians who look like niggas, who ancestors are actually blacks, Nugaritos, Setis, and all this and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
I just wanted to, huh?
Don't forget the Vietnamese too.
The Vietnamese, they fuck with us as well. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Only thing you gotta, I'm in a wheelchair, so I'm in a hospital a lot, so I see a lot of Asians, but mostly it's the ones that's like Filipinos. Some Koreans mess with us too.
Right.
It's just not the. I don't know, man. It's real hard because the Asian community is split in half too.
That's true. Right.
They got their own little thing going on.
Right.
And with me at first, I was like, shit, us as black folks, maybe we should get a little bit more closer politically with the Asians.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because they do take a lot of our culture.
Righteous.
You know what I'm saying? So where they want to accept us at in the workplace or whatever, they will mimic our culture. And we just have to find a way to weaponize and get a little money out of that, control what it is they're doing, like likeness. You know how you can sue somebody for your likeness.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We should be able to do that culturally.
Righteous.
As black folks, because we're the ones that ain't getting no reparations, but everybody winning off our get down. What we call ghetto and all that shit and look down upon. I mean, all that stuff. They actually mimic. Righteous. You know what I'm saying?
Righteous. Sir. I want to ask you a question. In inter-minority relationships, whether it's us and the Mexicans, Hispanics, or the Asians, or any other ethnic group, is it safe to say that they have a better vetting system, that they have a better screening process before they allow you and welcome you into their communities and their families, and we just welcome anybody? If you look like you can talk the talk, or if you look like the type of person that can understand the culture a little bit, we accept you. We amplify the smallest things that they can do, the things that make us great. If they can do a fraction of it, like Larry Bird. Larry Bird was a cool basketball player. A couple of other Caucasian basketball players, they cool basketball players, but when you compare them to black basketball players, they're mediocre. But being that they can do a fraction of what we do, we over amplify and, oh man, he can dunk. Motherfucker, we've been dunking since the game began. You get what I'm saying? So is it safe to say that other ethnic groups, they have a better screening process, a better vetting system before they allow blacks to come and mingle amongst them?
Of course they do, because they don't allow it.
Right.
Like, you have to really show them, like, they pick and choose who they choose to bring to their culture and allow the information of their culture.
Righteous.
And then they won't really if you don't know their language, you're not gonna really know their history. They only gonna give you a little bit in English. Oh, this means this, but it really don't.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they hold on to a lot of their stuff, especially when it comes to us, because everybody across the world has some type of issue with us.
Righteous.
Or with a darker skinned people that's originally from their country.
Righteous. I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room is that we ourselves can't trust nobody. And the only reason why we can't trust nobody is because we don't have the right type of value.
I got you, Mose. Give me a minute. I got you, Mose. My partner Mose gonna join us too.
Yes,
so
sir.
This is what I'm gonna say. Why don't we replicate certain things about other cultures as they replicate and imitate the things of our culture? If they have a better vetting system, why don't we vet the individuals that we bring into our communities and our culture? Now watch this. Eminem, they say he's the best rapper alive. To you, is he the best rapper?
He's never been.
Fuck no. A nigga ain't never. Go ahead.
That's a rhetoric though. That's like part of propaganda.
Right. That's part of their superiority complex.
Right.
That's them pushing that narrative, and niggas, conforming to the, he is the best rapper alive because he said this, man, that's some bullshit. We been rapping like that. But you know what I mean? But why don't we vet the individuals that come into our community? Because then they dug up some dirt on him. He talking about niggers. I hate niggers. Niggers is this.
Yeah.
And he ain't the only one. Even the Hispanic individuals that you see all these niggas doing these videos with, they got videos talking about fuck niggers. We don't like niggers.
Yeah,
Like how
but
the fuck?
oh,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. Not to cut you off, but yeah, every race have said that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But myself personally, I don't really take that in effect because I see the same thing. Like when I see these rappers say stuff like finesse two times. He'll say something like, I'm the new KKK. I can't stand niggas. Like this has become a line like in the rap industry.
Right.
In hip hop, like to say, oh, I got my call me KKK, I'm the new nigga hater. Like, so why y'all mad at other people for telling the same thing? If they already mimicking you, why wouldn't they mimic that?
Mm.
Let's really be
You
real. If
right.
they
You right.
mimicking the good things
PJ
about you,
Crip, you right.
why wouldn't they mimic the bad things? And then since they only see us attack each other, who else you think they're gonna attack if they mimicking you?
Right.
So maybe we should start turning our frustration on somebody else, not to put anything out there or try to excite anything like that in that issue. I'm just saying maybe you should show something different if you want to see people move different when it comes to you and
I
about
agree
you.
with you. I totally
You know what
agree
I'm saying?
with you. Mose is not allowing me to bring you on. It says they would need to connect their mic or cam before you can add them to the stream. So in order for me to add you, you got to connect your mic. There we go, right there. Hold on, I'm about to bring Mose on because this is some powerful fucking dialogue, homie.
Yes,
We
sir.
do need to start setting better examples of how we treat one another. And if the world is replicating that, then the world will replicate that because they replicate and emulate every fucking thing that we do. We need to set better examples, cuz this motherfucking Mexican, I'm not saying that in a disparaging way to my Mexican people, but that's the nigga name. This motherfucker Mexican OT, this nigga say, yeah, is there any blacks in here? Any black dudes in here? Yeah, I do say nigga, but what the fuck are you gonna do about it? Nigga should have beat his ass. Basically, they saying if you want us to stop saying nigga, nigga, do something about it. So if
I
nigga,
mean,
huh?
yeah, but all right.
That's what cuz saying essentially.
Okay, I remember when the first time I heard like a blood, right? Say like the Biddy and I'm about to go, you know what I'm saying? They would take the C out and put the B in front of it.
Right.
At a time in the early 90s when we first started hearing that, because we used to start saying shit like psych and whatever, right?
On PJ, yeah.
Because
That's
we heard
crazy.
them, the Pyrus and the Blood
Right.
saying it after the peace treaty, right? We didn't know they even talked like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But once we learned they talk like that, in the beginning, they used to be considered to be a diss to the C. And like you were saying before, like the whole world say that now. The whole world say bumped, and the whole world say
Oh, my
Biddy. The
mama.
whole world,
Right.
it's like a phase now. It's like a fad now, right?
Right.
So is the nigga word.
Right.
Like I ain't gonna beat nobody up or unalive nobody for saying crap to me. It was a time where I thought, hey, I gotta handle my candle, as you would
On
say.
Mike, on PJ.
You know what I'm saying? If you use any derogatory statements towards me or mine, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to my fashion or when it comes to my tribe, those are words to delete you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But as time progressed on, we let go of certain things just based on like it's childish.
Right.
You feel me? Back in the days, considered to be a nigga would hinder me from certain things.
Right.
You know, nowadays it doesn't.
Right.
They could be niggas all day long. So now we have to say, all right, these is the niggas, and then we black men. We children of God, or we whatever you want to be. But the word nigga doesn't have the same definition anymore, and we need to stop taking it the same way in context. We
Right.
let them have that shit. It wasn't good anyway. Or buy the word and make people pay every time they use it in the wrong way.
Righteous.
It's one or the other. Like you can't just keep sitting over here putting your hands on people for words, man. That's so childish.
I agree with you. But what I'm speaking to is the audacity of this motherfucker to basically say, I mean, I understand everything that you saying. I feel it. Mose, what do you think, brother? You know what I mean? But for a motherfucker to say, is there any black dudes in here? What the fuck are you? That's a challenge, my nigga.
Yeah, but he wouldn't did that out here because
No,
you
he
know.
wouldn't have. He
Yeah,
had
yeah,
a room full of females, and we know a lot of these production assistants, a lot of these people that work in these production studios, if they're a black man, they are nigga. Come to one of these podcasts like motherfucking the community, the whatever it's called, community, or a motherfucking back on Fig or some shit like that, and say some shit like that, and get your motherfucking hat brought to you.
yeah.
But basically, what he's saying, essentially, what he's alluding to, right? And this is my interpretation of it. If you want Mexicans to stop saying and overusing the nigga word excessively, you got to do something about it. And it don't necessarily mean put hands on them or pop them, but like you just said, how about we stop using it? Or how about we set a better example, being that they emulate and mimic everything that we do? Their culture doesn't go forward unless ours go forward. Their fashion doesn't change unless ours change. They emulate and replicate everything that not me, but we do. You feel what I'm saying? So that's how I took it. He basically saying be proactive about it. If you don't like us using it, be proactive. There's a guy named SAAD. He's in the queue to be brought up. Do y'all want to bring him up? He got to look at his picture. The picture is of a dude with his shirt off and look like he may be naked. Group decision.
I don't know about that one, big dog.
I ain't got no shirt on either. But
all right, well, fuck it. I'm gonna bring him up. Hey, Saad, I'm about to bring you up, but before I bring you up, I want to allow Brother Mose to give us his opinion. You know, express his views, so on and so forth. And as he's doing that, I'm gonna bring you up. Please don't be a troll and come in and bring that troll shit here, because if you do, I'm gonna track you down through your IP ad. No, I'm just fucking with you. But just be on some mature shit. Brother Mose, take it away, man.
Hey, now top of the morning, man, and salute to the chat.
Salute.
As it relates to the Asian community, man, I used to work farmers market, and I used to be in South Pasadena a lot. I saw a lot of Blasian babies, man. It's a lot of Black and Asian relationships in South Pasadena, man. So they definitely rock with us. I don't know if you brothers are familiar with a documentary called "The Bastards of the Party," Cleburne Sloan. And he actually
I haven't.
Hey, check that out when you get off of here. But he was talking about the derogatory words that we use towards each other is used to desensitize and minimize what we do to each other. You feel me? So if I'm going out on a mission and I'm busting on a lob or they coming at a rab, you feel me? It don't mean nothing because he just a woo wop. You feel me? These are words that we use and that's how they program us when we go to war. You know, back in the Vietnam days, it was it's the chinks. We don't kill them. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Ooh, this is heavy information, bro.
So when you get programmed into believing that it's just a derogatory word, then you feel invigorated by doing something to somebody else because first of all, they're not from your neighborhood, they're your enemy, and secondly, they're this derogatory terms. They apps, they ramps. You know what I'm saying? We finna go bust on some ramps. So I was just giving light to that sentiment, and I'm gonna let the other brother that you just brought on come on up.
He left, but that's profound. Coming from where we come from, you know, we call it the other side that F word.
Yeah.
To desensitize it and to look at them as being less than. We use the derogatory terms to relegate them to a certain position to where we don't feel bad on getting cracking on them. And when you look at the LA gang culture, it's the same thing. But we replicate what our oppressors did to us upon each other because they called us niggers. Them goddamn niggers is this, that, and third, and those niggers is this.
It takes the sting out of it. When you see somebody hanging from a tree, it takes the sting out of it. Because, hey, it's just an igger. Who cares? They some dirty mother, you know what I'm saying?
Now, imagine if they substituted that word with black human. That's a black human. Even the way that it comes off is different. That's a black human that we hung. It gives a certain level of humanity to the name. You know what I mean? But when they use nigger, you know what I mean? You don't look at us as being humans or being equal or being remotely close to the same thing that they use. You feel what I'm saying? So that nigger, even the way you say nigger, even if you say it politely, that nigger. The connotations that's associated with the word, homie, is automatically something that depreciates the value in that individual that you're calling a nigger. Man, that's some powerful shit, man. I
Yeah,
appreciate you sharing that, homie.
no, for real. Like, I got homies from TRG. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the homie, Lil Clover. They're my boys. You know what I'm saying? The TRGs and the OTs out here. The Asian boys, they call them roaches. So
Yeah.
just imagine, you know, the stigma to that. They really feel like they're killing. Like you see back in the days, you know, we was beefing with the Bloods. They was slobs, oolobs, and we didn't care if we caught one of them slipping and did something to him because that's just what it was. Like, nigga, he a slob, cuz like,
Yeah.
don't give a fuck
But
about what happened to him.
yeah, but I felt some type of way when 607 Unc said that. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, yes, sir.
607 Unc.
Oh yeah.
Why did you feel a certain type of way?
I felt a certain type of way because I follow him, right? And I see with him and the other dude from Chicago, the temperature. You feel me? How they look at it because of the things that 100 and all them, how they get down or whatever, right? And it makes the real ones look weird. Like we not really like that. You know what I'm saying? Like in all actuality, like if he was around some real California brothers, he would have got beat up. And I ain't taking nothing from Ant and nothing like that. You feel me? Because he part of their program. You feel what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, because you in tune to the podcast thing and you know the temperature of California and how they talking down about us and our get down and whatnot, you should have just checked that off the back. Like, look, don't come out here playing with us like that because y'all already think it's goofy over here because of this platform. Mama. You feel me?
Right.
And we ain't allowing y'all to diss and mess up what none of us got going on.
Righteous.
Especially because now we trying to come together. We trying to use the platform to bring people together. People understanding like, I'm going to come up here this day. You going to come up here that day. Blase, blase. You feel me? It's so much respect in between the lines to allow somebody that has nothing to do with this shit come and disrespect the lines because people are really being unalive and been being unalive for over 40 years because of these terminologies.
Righteous.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you. Right.
And I just don't think certain things you can't play with, and certain things, that's what I mean when I say we have to show different. You feel me? If you want to keep on showing that that nigga mentality, cool. Don't be mad at them when they call you a nigga, because that's what you're doing anyway.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? If you coming on here acting like you a crackhead or anything, like if you coming on here and demeaning yourself in any way for this publicity, you know what I'm saying? Fuck you, nigga.
Right.
And I'm a comedian. You know what I'm saying? I talk about a whole lot of stuff. I could do a whole lot of little different things. You know what I'm saying? But I keep it with the integrity level, and I make sure that, you know, like, I'm for mine. Like, I fuck with everybody, but for real, I'm for mine. Like, I'm gonna make sure I represent us right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because the temperature is crazy.
That's what Lifty Gunplay said. He said, I'm cool with everybody, but I'm for the raza.
Which is cool because we already knew that coming from California. Right. We ain't tripping on that. We just said, like what he doing is a political move we see in the prison all the time. It's the same tactics.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when you want a piece of something, you move on and you make a problem. You feel me? But you really ain't pressing nothing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're not creating nothing new that ain't already been there. And it's been worse. We know that. We really from California. We didn't seen the news. We didn't seen the propaganda be passed on by the news, where the news tells the Mexicans that's not involved to say, hey, all the Hispanics is going after black dudes in t-shirts today. If you see a black dude in the t-shirt, attack him. Right. And it was happening at all high schools, junior highs. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't really hitting the streets because I was in the streets. I wasn't going to school.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it was happening. It was having like riots at the high schools and things of that nature.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it was the kids. It was the kids that I was getting to, the people that wasn't even gang banging and things of that nature. Once we separate, because that's what they don't do. That's what we need to do though. You know what I'm saying? Just because they residents ride with them because they have something going for their whole community. We don't. So what we need to do is exclude our residents, the people that really don't gangbang. Stop gangbang. Stop acting like. Stop using that. Stop the whole presentation of what you doing. Like when I was a youngster, that would have got you beat up. Like we would have. That's what the word bullying come from. we would have bullied you
Right.
into taking your ass back in the house. You take yourself back in the house because you don't belong out here, young man.
Right. 100.
This ain't for you. This ain't. But now everybody got something to say. Everybody feel like they word matter. Everybody know. Okay, sit down. Though.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? For the pop shots get in the air, then what? Now everybody running because this ain't really for you. You know what I'm saying? And I think once our community go back to that, once our community separate from the small fashions of real gangsters and the rest of you niggas is just in the way, once y'all start going back to work and going back to school and being squares again, it'll be cool.
Right.
Our societies would be cool no matter what they change, because now we would have a big piece of our society actually working towards progress.
Right.
Because we haven't invented anything a part of the gang banging that actually promotes growth. You know what I'm saying? So
Right. You're
so
right.
we have to separate the people first and get them out of la la land. Hey, you ain't no gangster in real life. Shut up.
Right.
You feel me?
What I have seen in recent years, everything that you're saying is spot on. Coming from the project, certain dudes, they didn't make the cut. Nigga, take your ass in the house, stay on the porch, go to the gym, get the free lunch, take your ass back home. You're not thugging with us, you're not fucking with us, because you don't fit the bill. But it's crazy. But what I have seen with it's all good. What I have seen with dudes, and I don't mean no disrespect to nobody, what I've seen with gangs like 18th Street, the Gray Streets, maybe even the 40s, it's a massive recruitment.
Right.
You want to be from the hood, we're gonna put you on the hood just so they can have sheer numbers to where it's more quantity versus quality.
Right.
So now even our little homies now is putting on any and everybody. Just so we can have the sheer numbers to rival those of the Gray Streets and these other hoods that are implementing those same tactics to have, a real big hood. You got the quantity, but a lot of these cats don't got the quality. So when they introduce the gangster elements, they fold under pressure. So what you're saying is absolutely right. It was certain motherfuckers back in our days, homie, they didn't fuck with the game because they didn't meet the bill. Like, you know what I mean?
And that's a very dangerous thing when you just putting anybody on, man, because it only take a couple of people, man, to get that reasonico, man, and get you took down. Because a lot of people are not built for this stuff, man.
Right.
Back in the days when we vetted people, I seen homies get put on and put off in the same day, or get whooped out by 10 niggas, get their teeth knocked out, and you still ain't on. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't fight hard enough.
Shit too. Yeah.
I'm that type of homie, right? I don't care if you got your teeth knocked on. If I see something in you at that time that don't seem right, I'm gonna go against your put on. I don't care how hard and how many niggas you fought and who your people's like.
Right.
I'm gonna be like, nah, he cool, but he ain't really from the hood like that. Like, nigga, don't come back over here type. You feel me? Like you,
right.
Because I'm the type that always go out and fight. Right? I'm a train station baby. You know that.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't no, oh yeah, I'm bringing you up here to get put on and none of that like that. It was to combat what you was talking about. Since everybody just putting on anybody, you ain't gonna do that up here. This ain't gonna be one of your spaces to be catching any and everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's how I combated that. But again, I feel like this. I feel like no matter how many people you put on, most of the people is just onlookers. Period. It ain't too many real shotters, as they say. You know what I'm saying? It's only gonna be 5.
I think your joint went out, Heedy. Yeah, his joint went out. Give it a few minutes, see if he come back.
But yeah, man, what you was popping on last night, bro, when you were saying that a lot of racists don't mess with black people because we don't mess with each other, it was a lot of people in the comment section that felt the way about it, like, oh, you generalizing, oh, you stereotyping and this, that, and the third, right? But if I put the stereotype out that most black men are well endowed or most black men know how to throw them things, you'd adhere to that. But if somebody put the stereotype out that, for the most part, we the most disenfranchised and we don't got our ish together, you got a problem with that. And,
But
and
it's
what
the
I have to
truth.
say about that is like most stereotypes are rooted in truth, man. And
Right.
the epidemic that's going on in the United States is black men unaliving another black men, man. We got to just keep this shit real. You know, we got to keep it
Right.
a buck, man. People can't be in their feelings about this, man. You know,
Right.
a lot of racists don't mess with us because we don't mess with each other. They don't trust us. They say we scandalous. We gonna backdoor them because they see us doing the same stuff to each other every single
Right.
day.
Right. 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 I agree with you on that. Like I was posing a question to brother Cartoon 53. Would you allow your grandchild to go on 51st and Avalon, 53rd and Avalon, and engage in Fire Trade Avalon gangster crip activities? You wouldn't, because there's nothing of substance there. But would you allow your grandson to go to USC and join a fraternity? Hell yeah, you would, because it's promising. There's a lot of positive components that can enrich that individual's quality of life. So we can't blame other ethnic groups when they look at us and come to the same conclusion. I don't want my child being a fucking game banger. I don't want my child out there in these communities doing counterproductive activities. None of us do. If we don't want our kids to do it, then you can bet your bottom dollar that other ethnic groups don't want their kids coming into our communities and engaging in these activities that they consider to be shameful and pointless. We can't blame them. Somebody just asked about you. Oh, my bad, Johnny Roberts' name in it. Oh yeah, he said, "What up, baby love?" Baby love. Somebody just asked about you. But you know what I mean? We lost brother Mose. We lost brother Dupree. Make sure you go check out Mose the Great. Please go check out his platform, man. Very thought-provoking content. Make sure you also go check out brother comedian Dupree, aka Demetrius Dupree, over there at the Ghettos Conspiracy Podcast. Sister Baby Love, is there anything that you wanna add before I conclude this live? A lot of individuals have been looking for you. Okay, Eric Lange says Tongans on the same page. Tongans, damn, hold on. New chats come in and to push that one up. Eric Lange says Tongans on the same page. The streets are dead. We pushing them to get education. Brother Dupree,
On the same page. The streets are
the younger
dead. We
generations are
pushing
scared
them
of
to
other
get
races.
education.
I'm sure. I'm not sure what was said is what Baby Love says. Hold on, let me see what Freedom Boulevard says. A stereotype is a stereotype, and if the epidemic is black men, unaliving black man, then condemn gangs, period.
It, can I say something? What you think?
Yes, go, brother.
I think we put too much on that black man unaliving black man thing, like for real. Because in other countries, like, what do you think they doing? Do you think they just don't have no type of a death toll? Do you think everybody dying on accident?
Right.
No, Italians doing Italians, Europeans doing Europeans, Asians doing Asians, whatever community you in that's set. If you have any type of corruption, the corruption is going to be against the people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we focus too much on that. The reason why I say, and this is just my opinion, you know what I'm saying, to eradicate the gang banging, because we have lost substance on the growth.
Right.
Right. We haven't implemented anything in 50 years for community recreation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? In a whole.
Right.
You feel me? It's all about destruction.
I
You
agree
know what
with
I'm
you.
saying?
I'm about
And
to add Baby Love, but continue to do your thing. I'm gonna add Baby Love. Baby Love, what's the dinner now?
What's up? How you guys doing?
Incredibly well. How are you doing? This is this
Doing
is
all
this
right.
is my this is I guess you can call him my brother, cousin, close friend, associate, all this shit wrapped in
all
one.
the above.
Comedian Dupree.
That's
Comedian
right.
Dupree. This is Baby Love. Baby Love Substance. A
The
good
one and
associate,
only.
the one and only, a good associate of mine. But yeah, what's popping, Baby Love?
Well,
Lay
nothing.
something
What
on us.
I seen your title, and I'm like, well, I wonder what's going on over there. But what did you want to know? What I have to say about that?
Yeah, tell us what you got to say
Um,
about Trump's big beautiful bill or birthright citizenship.
I think he's, me. I'm like so against Trump and his policies. Because it initially it's supposedly to help the community, right? The working class and all this. But when it's coming to where they're cutting benefits for like just Medicaid for one, for example, that right there, so many people are going to be affected just by that, only to enrich the rich already. That to me is just not, it's not possible. It's really disturbing just to think that, I mean, children need it, elderly need it, all these people depend on that. And for them to be like, oh, well, they don't need it, who cares? Who cares about them? And
But I
that's,
will say this, baby love, and I'm gonna let you continue.
go ahead.
When you give power to a person to feed you, you also give power to them, that those
Yeah,
people or that
that's
person
true.
to starve you. We waited too long to become proactive.
Yeah.
Now we can't become proactive, so all we can do is become reactive. But
Yeah.
continue.
No, I understand your point right there, but I think honestly, and again, I'm not gonna go with the racist thing because that to me it's already a cop out. Like, oh yeah, no, because of this, and I'm not gonna go there. It's just a matter of humanity already. Having compassion for everybody in the world, not just because of my people or your people. Everybody deserves the same respect and dignity. You know, um,
Essentially, right?
yeah. Um, so what the policies that he's bringing, it's not. At first, we were like, oh, it's just the immigrant community. It's my people that are getting hurt. I seen the other day that Haitians are getting deported, right? Who's to say that they're not going to pick up just a Black American on the streets, confusing them, or not even confusing them, just by racially profiling their color, just the
Hell
color.
no, they ain't gonna pick up no African
They, they,
Americans.
they could do it, but they could do it. It's just like them picking me up. It's just like them picking me up as an American citizen, thinking I'm illegal. You know what I mean?
If they
Because
pick them up, they ain't gonna deport them. So they probably, what I
no,
mean,
but I mean,
police do things
just the
on a
harassment.
regular.
No,
I
just
mean,
the harassment. You know what I mean? Just the harassment, the mistreatment, and everything. It's become. I think people are just making it normal already. They're normalizing that behavior. You know,
I think
and I don't know.
I think if it's because of the harassment,
Hmm.
yo, we used to it. That's why we don't see
Oh
it as
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
problem,
yeah. No,
Oh,
I hear
please,
you.
hey,
I hear you.
yeah.
right?
We
So
we
so
have
so
we have our own too. Not to your extent. I can't speak on you because I don't know your walk of life. But I
right,
mean, Bobby knows my story. He knows about my kids and everything. You know what I mean?
right,
Um, Constant harassment as well in my community. Um,
right. That's
but
just
it's like,
part of living in California, is what I'm
but
saying.
see, but we the people have the power to turn that around.
No,
And if
we don't.
we,
No,
yeah,
we
we
don't.
do. Oh, we do. Oh, we do. We do.
We probably had it back then, but not right
But
now.
see,
Like, you feel me?
I'm saying
now,
because of
now,
this.
now, to me, it's like you're being complacent. It's like, oh, okay, well, not anymore.
Nope, that's
You
not
you can
true.
No,
take it back. You
I'm
can
being
take it
a
back.
realist.
and
I'm
I
being a realist. Just real quick, Haiti.
Uh,
I'm being a realist, and my cousin and I are opinions may differ on this. I'm being a realist. In
yeah,
order to prepare for war, in order to prepare for some form of revolution, you have to know who you're up against. The
yeah,
United States government is the most evil, wicked,
yeah,
power thirsty nation, people on the face of this earth. So when we
yeah.
talking about power, if we had the power, then what they doing to your people wouldn't be going on with your people. If we
That's
had
true.
the power, what they doing to my people, seeing that
Mhm.
people are actually on the corners with cell phones and choking my peoples to death. If
But
we had
tell
the
me,
power, those things wouldn't be transparent. If we
ho-
had the power, the things that we're facing now, we wouldn't be facing. And
but
those of us who are
tell me,
eloquent,
how did Martin Luther King do it?
he got
he
killed.
he
Well,
was
yeah, well, he got
He
killed.
killed,
got killed.
but he
He
made a
got
difference.
killed. Then you got to
But he made a
understand.
difference.
No,
But he
the
made a
fuck he
No,
difference.
did not. No,
You
the
don't
no.
think
fuck he
so?
did not. Martin Luther King ain't make no motherfucking difference. Abraham Lincoln ain't make no motherfucking difference. Nat Turner made a difference.
Uh,
Malcolm X made a difference. They said in order for us to
Well,
keep
see
these
that
revolutions around the nation from taking over
hold
our
on.
nation, we got to give these niggas.
you prove my argument. It took it because you said Nat Turner made a difference. Yes,
Do you know
just
what Nat Turner did?
that one person is what I'm
No,
Do
saying.
no.
you know what
It
Nat
wasn't.
Turner did?
No, I
It
don't.
wasn't.
What
It
is that?
wasn't one
Nat
person.
Turner went
Can
around killing slave masters. Nat Turner
Good,
went around
good.
asking
Maybe
blacks.
we need to start doing that shit.
Nope, that's
Getting
not
rid of.
what we gonna say on this platform. Hell
No, we're
no.
not.
we
No,
We
we're
are
not?
not.
not. No, hell no. She tripping. Government. Hold on.
All right. Can I
No.
interject?
Yeah, go ahead. Do your
Let me
thing.
calm it down a little bit. Let me calm
What
it
what
down,
it is.
baby girl.
I wake up every morning and I try to, it's okay. It's gonna be a better day, and it's worse, and it gets fucking worse,
And
and
it's
it
gonna
gets
get
worse.
worse. Hold on,
Oh,
pause real quick, Hitty.
Mhm.
Hey, Freedom Boulevard, I'm about to bring you on, but allow Brother Dupree to fully express what he's about to express, but we gonna bring you on. Freedom Boulevard, I'm gonna let y'all know he got
I
some
think
controversial stuff that he be saying, but I'm gonna bring him on. But I'm gonna mute him so you can finish what you gonna say, and then we gonna bring him into the conversation.
Okay. I believe we're hearing too much from people that already have citizenship and born out here, and their parents has got citizenship, and they calling it they fight. This ain't your fight. This ain't your fight, baby girl.
Yeah, it kind of is. It is.
You,
I
all
am
my
good, but
all my Hispanic partners, I never see out there.
I'm out there. I'm out there protesting.
I said
you know?
I like you said, I
Yeah.
don't know your story and I don't know you. I'm
But
talking
see,
about mine,
like
and
I'm telling you, in my
I do
experience to you.
shows with, like, I've done a show with Richard Villa.
Yeah.
I don't see them out there.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
You see what I'm saying? So
like
I
in
didn't say
my
that to say
viewpoint,
that.
it's like they're
I didn't say that
sellouts
to
to
go
me.
against you.
You know.
I said that to say this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should hear from the immigrants that actually took in their time and paved their way and did the process of becoming an actual citizen, and hear how they feel.
I see your point. Yeah,
And
I see your point.
It's not prevalent right now, but those who went through the proper steps to go through that process to obtain their legal citizenship, they're saying, hey, if I did it, you can do it. And some of these people that they're calling illegal immigrants, they've been over here 30-some years.
30
So
years.
you came over here, you became complacent. You thought you was good. You thought you was experiencing the good life without being a citizen, and you didn't even try to initiate the process. And this is a direct result of you not going through the process to become a legal citizen, and you've been over here 20, 30, 40 years.
Well, see, in defense of the community or the immigrant community, a lot of them are afraid of even stepping out. They try to not get in trouble for that reason.
They street vendors. They selling food. They
I'm
selling
gonna tell
socks.
you. I'm gonna tell you why
they
they're
have
afraid.
permission to
Hold
do
on,
that. That's
hold
what I'm
on.
saying.
I'm gonna tell you why they're afraid, and I'm gonna tell you what type of fight this is. This is not really a race fight. This is an economic fight.
Yes, I
So
agree.
we can't keep having 100,000 people taking American dollars and not putting a tax to it. That's what it's really about. It's not really about anything else. That's why they're taking visas.
Yeah.
It's not about anything else. That's why they taking them doing the tariffs for the Asians and there. Look, y'all been living over here. Y'all been doing this shit for 50, 60 years, and y'all ain't been paying taxes, talking about some kind of, this and that and this and that. And we're constantly growing your economy. And what you're doing is using the money that you're getting while we're helping your economy, and you're weaponizing it.
Right.
Borgani, China.
How about Regani, brother? How you doing?
Yeah, I just want to say peace to y'all. I just want to know what your viewpoint on one thing, because Mexico is actually a big shot in the Latin world, and people actually want to be in Mexico from countries that are less off or don't even have standing military or as the infrastructure in Mexico. Now, if Mexico has their own walls and their own deportation system, why is this such an issue? And also, I do agree with Brother Moshe when he's talking about when people been here forever and they did go through the paperwork. Why the fuck you ain't go through the paperwork for? And then it's an issue now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
Hold on, let him cook. Let him cook.
But yeah, we did do a lot for civil rights, for the whole world, to open up the world here. If not, a lot of people would still be at complacent roles such as cleaning jobs and things like that. We want to have different colors in politics and certain chairs. And I feel like that's going unsung. Yes, we might not have had a full movement as a whole, but there have been movements, but they're just not put into the algorithm, so to say, because we don't know about them, but there is going on. You feel me? Wafuddin Muhammad, he had left Nation Islam, he had made a movement. Khalid Muhammad made a movement. There's brothers from churches that got movements. There's certain Israelite brothers that got movements.
All right, not to cut you off though, fam, but why do we have to go to an occult type of situation in order to get change?
Whoo, that's heavy.
Okay, that's deep. Well, what would be another way? Would it be a political party? Because me myself, I'm about to try to see what's going on down. I'm up here near the LA area, right? But I'm going down to San Diego. I'm gonna try to paint a mural for the Black Panthers they open up down there. But would you say that would be an occult practice, trying to go to the Black Panthers, or what do you mean, like political?
Of course it would, because you have certain standards, right? And you're separating yourself from the people.
That's not
How can you
no
be
no
for the
no
people
no. You're
yet
not separating
separate
yourself from
yourself
the
from the
people, and they
people?
don't bring religion within that though. So would you think that
It's
would,
not about religion. It's about a like-minded of
no? When you
rules and
said occult, brother, you
regulations.
said why do
And
we?
if you
That was
don't
a profile
adhere to
question.
these beliefs, rules, and regulations, then you are not
How
a part of
how
our
would
program.
a political party be a cult?
Boom. I just want to interject real quick. I feel what both of you amazing brothers are saying.
Mm-hmm.
When you're dealing with the Nation of Islam wants you to think, perform, and conform to the way that they do things. But when you're dealing with a Black Panther political party, it's slightly different. So I wouldn't consider the Black Panther political party, which is the political representation for us, the advancement of us as a people. I wouldn't necessarily consider that an occult. But other ones that bring in a certain way of go ahead, do your thing.
Now, I feel that the Black Panther Party is the same thing. They just said, oh, yeah, because of the guns, right? So we got the right to do this, to do that, to do this, to do that, right? That's what
Laws
destroyed
without
them.
to be an
So what they
American,
had
yeah.
to do was back into an occult situation to where now they not out in the open doing that. Now, if you like-minded, come to us and we'll train you to be what we doing.
I
We'll
don't understand that premise you're
teach you,
saying right there. You just what you mean by that?
because I can't
A
go
cult,
to.
you meaning like Nation of Islam is a spiritual whoop, right? Or even God Bodies is a spiritual entity, right? But the political party, like Brother Bobby was saying, the Panthers is not so spiritual, it's more so dealing with the community and the people. So that won't be taking you away from the people. Like right now, they have a building a free store downtown San Diego. You feel me? For the people, it's just lifting up off the ground. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It just hasn't been enough people. Actually, a lot of Black men, you feel me, starting to come there now. But it really was white people there and a lot of Black women. You feel me? So it's changing now. My brothers are stepping up. I don't think that'll be a cult. Like you mean like something other than reality or like a faith or like
No,
it seems pretty solid. A 10-point program.
Religion is nothing but just religion is nothing but a everyday practice, right?
Right. A set way of doing things regularly. Right.
Oh, okay. So you keep trying to separate religion and politics just because you're using two different words. We talking about a group of like-minded people going to a secluded place to live the way they want to live. That's an occult
No, it's no
situation. I don't
compound or
care
nothing like
if
that.
you Jewish. I don't
No.
care if you whatever you are. If you separate yourself,
We don't have a compound, brother.
Exactly.
No, that's what?
No, he's saying
Let,
that
let,
you
let
don't
me
have a
let me just
compound.
ask one question. Let me just ask one
We
question.
don't have a compound.
Do you guys
The
believe
Black
that we
Panthers
deserve
do have a
change?
compound. The
San
new
Diego
Black
Black.
Panther
I'm just talking
movement
about from
do
what
have a
I know. Where I'm
compound.
about to go July 5th. Down there is a free store we have for the community, but there's no compound. There's a place to meet and to see if we're going to say if we protected Umar Johnson if he speaks, then there will be a regiment to protect him or certain things like that. But I understand what you mean because religion was the politics before politics was politics, right? But now it's a little bit different because it's not really a faith. It's just what's based on what's right. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Type of revolutions to
What's
have
right for the
land.
people, all the people. See, the Black Panther political party, when they started in the Bay Area, it wasn't just for those who believe in Muhammad. It wasn't just for those who believe in
right.
Jesus. This is for all of us,
Yeah.
and we're moving as a people. You
That's
feel what I'm
right.
saying? So I don't necessarily think the Black and I love you, you my partner, you my H Boone Coon and all this, but I don't think that the Black Panther political party can be akin to an occult type of system. Now, the Nation of Islam, what they push, in order to enjoy it, you got to embrace it.
I agree.
Other
I
religious
agree.
groups who are supposed to be pro-black and supposed to be working on the behalf of the people, they say in order to participate, in order to enjoy it, you got to participate. You have to come up under this set way of thinking, this set way of doing things. And I feel like it's counterproductive for us as a people as a whole. The Black Panther political party, it don't matter if you from Compton, Watts, it don't matter if you Crip blood, if you got money or you don't got money. We're
Muslim,
going to learn the
Christian,
laws. We are going to learn the laws and how to properly govern ourselves and see what we mutually have a grievance about. And we're going to take this shit to Capitol Hill as the Black Panther political party and let them know what our grievances, our gripes is, and what we need from the federal government.
As a Black nationalist, right? That's what kind of political party they are, right? A Black nationalist party. If we speak in politics, you feel me? But we're not speaking politics. We're speaking on what's going on in economics, and we talking
No, I
about
was saying what black people doing positive, and I'm just saying they are being reactivated in
yeah.
certain places, and there's black brothers that's coming instead of just the sisters or people of other races that's trying to help. It's
I
black men
don't
that's coming up to the forefront.
I didn't disagree with anything you said. I just said, why do we have to go to an occult situation in order to get change? That's all I asked. I never disagreed with none of the works that you're doing, or I never said that black people ain't
Oh no,
doing
I
this and doing
understand.
that.
I was giving my
You
rebuttal
know what
to
I'm
that
saying? I'm saying
question.
that
But I
why
said
do
we don't have to go a
I
cult.
have never with my own eyes seen a person that I knew for sure was from the Black Party Panther.
Okay, I'll go back to my
It's
question, right? Do you guys
reactivated.
believe that we deserve change, and if so, how do we go about it?
Change is the only constant in life. For a
Right.
person to be against change, you're against the natural progression and the your very existence of life. Change is the only constant. So, do we deserve change? Shit, life is gonna change whether you change with it or not.
Yeah,
So,
but only we can decide how the change is going to be. You know what I mean? If we keep allowing all this
Who
shit
would we
to go
be?
on, I'm sorry.
he said, "Who will we
Who's
be?"
we?
We,
The
me
people.
as a person,
People?
like if I want change,
Yeah, the
I have to
people.
change myself, right? I have to
No, she
change
said
my
her as an individual, not the people.
Oh,
She,
okay.
she
you
talking
know
about individual perspective.
Okay.
right.
Continue.
So like if I want change, I have to better myself in order to contribute to the world or whatever, you know. And hopefully it catches on. Hopefully people can find and see that what's going on is not right, right? So
Brother Dupree
as
said no.
No, I
why is that?
wasn't shaking my head about that. I was shaking
Oh,
my keep going. I'm sorry.
It's like what they say. You got to be the change you want to see in others. You know,
mm-hmm.
Okay,
and
now I
Exactly.
that's
think
ultimately,
yeah, because you was about to repeat it again. I
yeah.
think that's just a woman look, and this is the reason why we won't have women leadership because
No,
y'all got that
no.
nurture of hope.
Well,
Oh, that
because
oh
we want the best. Like I want the best. Like
right.
to me, I don't see no color. I don't see nothing like that. Even
It's not
religion, I
about
don't.
color. That's what I'm
Or
saying. See,
even
don't get
monetary.
that
Like
It's just what's
perspective
right and
twisted.
what's
yeah,
wrong.
even yeah, it's what's right and what's wrong, right? It's
Yeah.
it's humanity. It's compassion. It's having all of that those values instilled in people, right? I think nowadays, even like this generation, this youth, they're fucking like, I don't know, watered down. I don't know what it is. They have no values, no principles. They just go on whatever it is. Like I don't know. I just feel like they're
They
not
do
taught
have
we
properly.
they
can't we can't demonize the
Not
youth because it
I don't want to
creates a
generalize
further gap
everybody,
in
but
between
yeah,
us. But
Yeah,
if
we
we're going
won't
to
do
talk
anything.
about what the youth have and what the youth don't have, it's because of what we
it's our
did and
fault.
what we didn't do. We
Yep,
dropped
Mm,
them. We dropped the
exactly.
ball. But
We dropped the
continue.
ball.
I
Exactly.
don't think it's about the ball. I think it goes back to what she was saying when it comes to evolution and having a control of it. And like you said, Bobby Ye, yes, to go against evolution is to go against nature. But if you
Mhm.
looking at it as though they feel like they know which way and the best way for us to go in the evolution. Evolving is you can't stop it. We've
Right.
been evolving as human beings genetically faster than we ever have in the past 20 years.
Right.
Can,
And it's getting faster and faster and faster. This
so
is
can we
scientifically
agree that
proven.
war will never leave the earth?
Say it again.
Can we agree that like conflict, war will never leave the earth?
Hell no, it won't. There's
Oh yeah,
conflict in our
definitely.
bodies.
I could agree with
No,
that.
no, 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 no. You need that. That's nature,
Hmm.
right? No good without bad. No this side without that.
Hold on, excuse me. Y'all do your thing.
All
Yeah.
right. You need chaos. Chaos is called a chemical reaction in the scientist world. See, what they're trying to do is control the reaction and the outcome after the reaction. The chaos is going to happen anyway because it has been already foreseen.
Hmm.
So if the things are happening now that has been foreseen, which means your fight is is airless. Like you're not gonna change nothing.
I
You
was
just
just trying
looking
to
for a
chime in
reason to
if
fight.
that's what you meant by how we can't have, the nurturing movement as leadership, because conflict will never leave the earth.
Will not lead in that sense to where you would just be the full head and the full
Yeah.
power. It won't
I mean,
happen
well,
that
you
way.
know how so-called modern things are, what I mean, how some females feel like, the empowerment, you understand?
Yes.
like commander in chief. Like, do you think Kamala Harris really lost because America wasn't ready for a woman, or was it because her policies?
I think it was because
Her
America wasn't
policies.
really ready for a
Okay,
woman.
thank you. Because I remember I went to
America
work and
wasn't
Shorty was like,
ready
"I guess
for a
America's
woman.
not ready." I'm like, "Are you serious?" It wasn't because she was a female.
So why haven't we had a gay male president?
What you
Openly gay
mean?
male
What you
president.
know about all the presidents that ever lived?
Openly,
Them niggas is probably
openly
I
gay.
free as
said
fuck.
Openly.
openly. I
Okay.
said openly.
Okay. Because
I
we done had
said
a lot of gay
openly.
presidents.
I'm about to say,
I
Obama.
said
Never mind. I ain't gonna
openly.
even get into
I
it.
oh shit.
said openly.
Yeah, you did.
We know how they've been getting down. We know
Right.
how they've been getting down since they was in Rome.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? With bath homes and bath houses and all this and all that. So
I mean,
we
even
know what
the
this is
Hellfire
about.
Club with Benjamin Franklin, they used to do, when they used to mock the Bible and draw weird shit and
They
have their
still
weird
do
parties
it.
with just men.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You said what?
They still do it. Pun
Oh,
intended on everything they say they got God involved because they
make a mockery.
they're from the
Yeah.
Scientology. Most of the people that we looking at, Trump, Camilla, all of them are all Scientologists. They all believe are atheists, one or the other. They all believe that they make their own life. This is why we going through what we going through. It's really a spiritual warfare. In the race card, it's just small.
But
Right.
Baby Love believes that as well, that we make our own lives by changing and,
Yeah, of course they did. They cut the open law, the open carry law in California. It
Look at
wasn't our benefit.
Shorty. So
So
was
now
I
we
it?
don't
don't I
have the
don't
right.
think I don't think he was saying that to our benefit. He's just speaking to the power of the Black Panthers. The Black Panthers went up in California state capitol with rifles. They changed the gun law the next day because they
Yeah.
couldn't have niggas
What,
knowing the law.
So now you can't have it, and they calling you a terrorist group.
did
And
the
that
gun
is
laws
not
get more
power. I'm
strenuous
sorry, you just got
within
little
the
boy
gang
belt
wars?
to ass. And
Did
I'm
the-
for the people. I'm power to the people. But that's just belt to ass every time you try to move like that.
Righteous.
Belt to ass. That's
What-
not power, baby.
I see your
What you
point.
said, Kim, folks?
I said, was it just the Black Panthers that did that with the gun laws, or did the laws get more? Because I live out here, but I'm not originally from out here. Did it get
Yeah,
more
you from the
strenuous
East
with the
Coast.
gang wars? You heard?
No. The Black Party, that was a 10-year gap.
No, I'm saying like within like the gang banging, did the laws get worse? Like, you know how Chicago laws is way like lenient, and they gang bangers at an extreme because they laws are stupid. You feel me? But out here it got more strict over like the early 90s or the 90s? Quote, I mean,
No,
correct me if I'm wrong.
They didn't have to stricten the gun laws because they implemented the 3 strike law.
Oh, because is that what that was?
And that
So
was
they was-
pretty much stricter, making that was pretty much. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Continue. Never mind.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you got caught with that thing multiple times, you gone. We hope you got your gun. We didn't have to change it. We just changed what the discipline of it was.
Right.
See
the
what I'm saying?
ramifications. If you get caught with a gun and you're a gangbanger, it's this amount of time. If you get caught with the gun and you pointed at somebody, that enhancement give you 10 years.
They implemented
if you use the motherfucker,
enhancements.
that's 15 to 20 years. You feel what I'm saying?
And that was Biden. That was Biden.
Right.
Right. So we ain't really tripping on what's going on. We need to see it like this. We need to see that in honest hindsight, during the pandemic, Biden had let in like shit, like I think like 250,000 just random people.
I mean, honestly, me even living in another country, I know how good it feels to feel like you got a fresh start and they can't even see your background. You can really just say anything. It's not even as closed in as you think. You can really go places and you can have a whole nother life, bro. Especially if you're from a so-called third world country coming to America. That's even better. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what I'm just keeping it G. I went to another country and I was, you know what I mean? I was putting mad shit on my resumes. You feel me? Like, yeah, man, you're good. Yeah, you feel me? Like you can really go somewhere, like,
right.
And
but we ain't
switch it
going
up.
nowhere.
But that's also a big liability.
Speak for you.
Yeah, I mean, why would I go anywhere else?
Nah, I hear you. And a lot of
Why would
brothers
I
feel
go
like
anywhere
that.
I was
else?
in the British
Only
West
based
Indies, so it still was some
only based on
currency there.
this.
I understand other places might be harder though.
Nah, this is what I'm saying. Even out here, right? The rest of the black people, they to themselves too. You feel me? Yeah, you mingle in and out or whatever, but in like in hindsight, like people to themselves, the Haitians to themselves, the Jamaican, like it's a whole, the Africans, it's a whole, like they all be to themselves in abundance.
Well, you know,
Because they still look for familiarity,
I
like in
think we
their
should care
culture.
about our public image more. Like, you know how people see each other from certain ethnic groups and they say, "Hey, what's up?" but be happy, don't even know each other. But hey,
Ain't no Chinese man looking at no Japanese man talk about, "Hey, what's up?"
nah, I'm talking about ethnic groups that say what's up to each other. Yes, they do, and like they know each other. How many Latinos you seen that's somewhere and they just off the back?
Which one is Latino?
They
Which one is
gravitate
from
towards each other.
Latin?
They fuck with
I'm
each
just
other.
trying to, well, maybe just my own self-experience, but I see more to other
I'm
people than the
asking
so-called
you
American
what
black man. Other people are more so less socially awkward to each other, less it's not so much ice
I agree
towards
with
each
that.
other.
I totally agree with that. I agree with him.
What's
When
the
we see each
Latin?
other,
I mean, I'm not even going to go to semantics. I'm just saying other people's beside us got less of an ice wall when, you know what I mean? Like we communicating or
a
just
Latin is anybody that speaks the Latin language.
Portuguese?
That's a Latin language. French, that's a Latin language.
So let's really get into it then.
Haitians are Latin. They're
You
black,
feel
but
me?
they're Latin. Dominicans are Latin. If you speak Latin, you're technically a Latino if you speak one of the languages that derive from Latin.
is it
What
the
Okay, can
romantic
I ask? Hold on.
languages?
Before we get
romantic
too far,
languages, right?
before we go too far, baby, are you still there?
She did.
Yeah, yeah.
What do your community call Latins?
That's a good one, cuz.
It's somebody from Latin America. It's not.
Hold on, you're
We
going in and out.
we can't
I
hear what
heard
you're
you say
saying.
something about Latin America, and
Yeah,
where is
that's what I
that?
heard too.
Hold on, I'll be right back.
Okay.
She
Yeah,
said she got
because
to do it number 2. She'll be right back. You crazy. That would be crazy.
snap.
Hey,
But
if
you
you
feel me?
come
I'm
from a
loving
Latin
these
speaking
conversations.
country, you're Latino. If you come
Yes.
from a country that identifies or was conquered by Spain, you're Hispanic.
Yeah.
If the Spanish came in and
So,
conquered your shit, you're
So most
Hispanic.
of the people that we call in
are
Latin
those
is coming from
Canadians from
Central America.
Montreal that speak French Latino?
Or the Canadians from Montreal,
That
they're
speak French.
Canadian.
Well, would that be a Latino province though? Because you know Montreal, they be like hon 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 hon.
They don't call them that.
Okay.
It's usually Mexico on down is what they identify and define as Latino
Latin
and
America.
Hispanic, Latin America.
That is a word that they use where they were from before we had YouTube and all this. Like how they separated niggas, they separated them, and they use the same word.
That was a good ass
Latino.
question though, because technically they should be considered Latinos if they speak French. The Haitians are Latino. They
Right.
speak French. You feel what I'm saying?
But not the Jamaicans, because the Jamaicans speak
They
Spanish,
speak
right?
English. They speak
But the crazy
Jamaican
thing is,
English.
Jamaica got
Belizean
Spanish people from
speak
Jamaica too. My ex-wife was a Spanish Jamaican.
Hey, I'm gonna bring brother Daniel Mitchell on if y'all don't mind. We're gonna allow him to join the
I ain't
conversation.
tripping, brother.
Shake it up. Hey man, I appreciate y'all coming on my platform and having this meaningful dialogue, homie. Because somebody's going to see this and a seed is going to be planted, homie. So this is the powerful conversations that we need to start conducting more frequently. But let's allow this amazing brother Daniel Mitchell to come on. Nigga, you on the air.
Mr. Mitchell.
Brother Mitchell, where you at, man?
He probably stepped away. He probably didn't see that.
Or he probably taking
there
a
you
number
go.
2 too. That wasn't him. That was Kim Folk. Hey, where you from? New Jersey or New York or Philly?
Yeah, I'm from Jersey. You
Damn,
hey,
nigga.
Hey, shout out to Jersey, man. You know Jersey and Watts has a relationship. You know what I mean?
From Newark, nigga. Yeah.
That's all I'm saying,
hey,
brother.
Man, I'll be on here, man, with
They
Big
call
Vino,
y'all the
man.
North niggas, LA. They call us the Watts niggas of Jersey.
That's all I'm saying, bro.
Ain't dirty,
Because
man.
Watts is really Brick City. When you come to LA, Brick City is Watts. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, so we got a relationship. I'm glad you jumped on.
I remember New Jersey Drive.
On PJ.
Yeah, man. Rest in peace, Peanut, man.
Rest in
Most
peace,
definitely.
Peanut, man.
Most definitely.
Yeah, man, I'll be on the live with Will Wright and Big Vino out of New Jersey, out of North. That's how they told me to say. You gotta say like North. Huh?
I know I've been listening to Bobby A for a minute. I never just had this page before. But really, I like the topics that he be talking about. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? So
and I want you to be more involved, homie. Nigga, we your family. Nigga, you should have been said something. Nigga, shake a hand, make a friend.
Hey,
you,
man.
You amongst comrades, homie.
I got you on IG, bro. You just be busy on here, you heard?
Oh, yeah. I don't really fuck with IG.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going
gotta
on with
follow
Daniel?
you too.
Hey, what's going on, Bobby? Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, Bobby? Yeah. Nigga, don't you ever come on like that. Now I'm just fucking with you. What's the deal?
No, I'm just chilling, bro. What's going on with you, bro? What's your name?
Nigga, I'm Bobby A.
No, not you, the
Be
guest, Bobby. Come on.
specific, man.
I'm Dupree.
I just said, what's going on, Bobby A? What's your name?
Yeah, but that's it made me think you was talking about me because you said, "What's going on, Bobby A? What's your name, nigga, Bobby A?"
I was
just
just
fucking with you.
I was just tapping in with y'all. I ain't heard what y'all was talking about because I just got off of work, but I know it's something. Give me the feel on what's going on.
Trump's big beautiful bill, birthright, citizenship, and more. Right now, we were talking about the inner minority relationships with the Hispanics and the Asians, a continuation from when we were just on here. And it's crazy that the brother Mose, he presented that question to me. Do I think that Asian Crips is Crips? I do. What about you, Heidi?
Me?
Yeah, nigga, you.
You was cutting off a little bit, so I just heard Asian Crips.
Basically, I was saying
a race in itself, right?
See, he going in and out.
I ain't going in and out.
Oh, shit.
There you go.
Oh, you did for a minute though, Bobby. Yeah, you did.
I was fucking with you. I was going like this.
Oh, hey, it's too early for this shit, man.
Hey, but this is what we need, man. Listen, homie, we about to have some amazing ass days. Even people in the chat, homie, they gonna pick up on their energy and that frequency, and they gonna go out and extend it to other people. We need shit like this, man.
Absolutely,
this shit is pertinent, but other people don't understand how important this shit is. This is brothers coming together to talk about whatever the fuck we want to talk about.
Hey,
whatever
bro,
you want to talk about, we gonna talk about it.
And this is a breath of fresh air because honestly, I mean, how long we all done been on YouTube? You the first person I'm like gonna go on StreamYard and tap in with because I like to have conversations, not all this bullshit going on. You know what I mean? Like real conversations. And I'm not no YouTube type of join people live type of guy, but with you, intellectual, that verbal sparring is healthy. On top of everything you're saying, it's actually healthy to do. Whether primarily it's healthy to do with amongst other black men, but it's healthy to do in general. I be doing this shit with my wife to the point I be getting on her nerves. Everything she say, I'm up for debate.
Yeah,
that's why we gonna create this think tank. Yes, sir, brother.
So okay, I understand that you were Kiwi. So would you say, because you know how they call it you guys call it tribes, right?
Right.
Would you say Kiwi will be even like a sub race in itself? So them Asians would be a part of your race?
No.
Okay.
Kiwi is it's an organization.
Right.
It's not a race. It's not an ethnic group because there's different components that goes into what categorize and classify a group of people as a race, an ethnic group, and a nation.
Well, what about the tribal side?
It's our organization. That's our tribe. Well, actually, your tribe is your hood.
More like religion. If anything, more like religion. More like Kiwi is more like religion if we want to go into subcultures.
You got to explain that, though. You got to explain that because some people, their perception of religion is Islamic faith, Christianity, so on and so forth. They don't know the actual meaning of religion.
What I mean by that is that, see, look, we will say gangbanging is a subculture. It's part of the inner city culture, but it's a subculture within a culture. So it's a subculture. So when we go Kiwi, that would be a subculture to the subculture, like as if religion. We all part of the same culture, but we might all be a part of the same. We might be all a part of the same culture, listen to the same music, the hip hop culture, the black culture, the inner city culture. But when we could break it down to Damu, Kiwi, you understand what I'm saying? Those are
no. He's right. That is a subculture.
Yeah.
Because we have our top culture, which is
so is religion. Religion is also
is a subculture. I'm not.
Okay.
Hey, let's continue the discussion. I'm about to bring Brother Mose on, but please, Brother Dupree, express what you express, and I'm bringing
like I said, I kind of threw that out, but I'm sure I can make a good point on this. Religion is a subculture because let's say we all from PJ Watts, Bobby. Let's say we all from PJs. me, you, and the gentleman that's on here with us, we all from PJs. That's a subculture within the culture we from. We all black. We part of the same culture. Where we from will become a subculture. But if
No,
you
sir. No,
Islamic,
sir. No,
okay,
no,
well,
no,
well, let me
no,
let me
no. I
land. Let me
disagree with
land.
that
Let me
analogy.
well,
That's
let
what I
me
was
let me
trying to tell
land.
him before he started.
If we all from PJs, you a Christian, you Islamic, and I'm Buddha. 90 we still probably we have the same culture when it comes down to the majority of how we live, but then when the religion come into place, that's what will separate us and break us down into three individual entities.
Brother
So
Bobby, did y'all come from the Panthers though? I just want to dispel that for all my homies from the eastern states. I need to know from a real key way. Did it come from Panthers?
Watts is heavy on Panther culture. Watts
Yeah,
is heavy on the
right,
Panthers.
that's what the
Watts was
Watch Riots
definitely.
was actually a Panther movement.
The
So
Watts
damn near
Crippin or the
every
LA Crippin? Which one's the
We
Panthers?
talking about Watts right now, but he's
Okay.
talking about Crippen as a whole.
I'm
So
talking
what
about
I
Crippin
will
as a whole. Did it come from Panthers?
No,
I
no,
understand Watts was
no,
revolutionary like
no,
my city North
no,
was. Okay.
no.
because see they
We
just
did
spent
not come
they
from the
they the
Panthers.
offsprings of the Panthers. The Watts
Okay, thank you.
not
That's a
dudes
big myth.
is the
That's why a lot of brothers
offsprings.
in the eastern
That's
states
Watts though,
joined
but he's
because we
talking
thought it
about
was a
Crip as a
revolutionary
whole.
thing.
Oh
You
no,
feel me?
no,
it's
That's a
other
myth.
factions
In
that
like New
came
York,
down
New
before
Jersey.
Crippen that led from from the Panthers, right?
There was
But the
Panther
Crippen
influence.
dismantled all that. Crippen and Bloodin is not the same.
I'm sorry, what'd you say, bro? What
Crippen and
happened?
Bloodin is not the same as it
right,
don't stand
right,
on the same notations that you do.
right.
You
There
see
was
what I'm saying?
definitely Panther influence, but we do not
But
come
it
from the
really
Panthers.
Okay.
well the whole grouping of people and the way that we like that.
Because
Yeah.
in the eastern states we very deep thoughted, you feel me, thinkings and revolutionary minded, reading books, you feel me, different groups that was started, so a lot of people joined these things from people thinking that it came from Panthers, and then they done
Can I
So
give
we
my
can
can I
downward
give my opinion?
escalate.
Can I give
So
my
we
opinion,
do
y'all?
not Crip and Blood because we think it come from Panther. We learned about Panther Hill way later in life.
No,
Can
I'm
I give
talking
you my
about in the
opinion?
East Coast, the eastern states.
yeah, you talking about the East
Before the
Coast.
internet, when people was just in jails and or moving work or whatever it was, allegedly that got people to different parts of the country and made whatever
Niggas cripping and blood
situations.
because they want to be like Suge. They want to be like Snoop. That's why y'all doing it, because even
Well,
in the
I'm trying to
prisons in
tell you that from
California,
being
hold on,
out
brother, let me
there,
finish.
brother.
Even in the prisons in California, if I was a Muslim, I wouldn't go with my Crip card. I would go with my Muslim card.
That
So
could be
you see the
interchangeable depending on
difference
who you
even
talk
in
about.
prison.
But in the
Even
East
in the
Coast
prison,
states, people are more revolutionary minded, and it is a thing where people thought that it did come from the Panthers. I'm out there.
it's a
Generation.
small percentage.
It may be a small percentage, but it's also the generation. You got the generation of the 80 babies that really thought that this was a proactive, a
I'm the
pro-black
last of the 80s
movement
babies.
that came. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, we
Now
are
these
too.
young cats, they begin to gang bang because Lil Wayne started throwing up
Okay,
B's and
yeah,
other people start
yeah.
throwing up C's,
Okay, you're
and
right.
it created a fashion and a fad of sipping syrup and all this other shit. But
Hip
there
hop
wasn't
influence.
a
Hip
hip
hop
hop
influence.
And
influence.
that's the culture. And then to go back to the little culture thing we were saying, it's not a subculture and a subculture when everybody is following the same line and step. It's just a culture. So now game banging is the actual culture, not a subculture. It don't matter if you
I
cripping and
I
blooding.
respectfully disagree with
Well,
that
If
one.
me
you
too. I do
listen what
too.
I'm saying, can I finish? You can
Go
disagree
ahead.
or
Yes,
you
yes, sir.
won't.
Yes, sir.
But
Yes, sir.
what I'm saying is this: the culture was never defined before, and when it was defined as hip hop, and y'all allowed them to call that the culture. So now, if everything in hip hop is the culture, whether it be a woke state or it be we
That shit
doing
is new to me when people start
it,
saying
you
that.
can
That's a
say
community.
that,
That's
but
not a culture. The white
before
folks
then, I never
identified
heard
it
that.
as that to degrade the movement.
I never heard of it. I never heard in the 80s we doing this for the culture. I never heard in the 90s we doing this for the. This is
Yeah, I never
something
heard
new.
that.
This is something new that has been moved through hip hop.
I heard Cardi B start saying
I
Period.
that shit.
I totally agree with you in regards to that. But the origin of that is the white folks who tried to relegate our culture to a specific music genre. Hip hop is
Right.
not a culture. Hip hop is a community. It is
It's a
not a culture.
subculture. It's a subculture.
It's a subculture.
Hip hop is
hip hop is
breakdancing,
not the
DJing,
culture,
graffiti,
if hip hop is not the
freestyling,
culture,
and
tell me what the culture
beatboxing.
is.
We are. Black
The
people
culture
are.
is us.
Yeah, we are.
We the
And-
culture.
And
Now
what
watch
is that?
this. Now you name another ethnic group that has a specific name for their culture.
That's what I'm saying. You got to get rid of that whole ideology.
Wait, what's that? You mean it should
You
be like
understand what I'm
what is
saying?
their
No, let me
ethnic
say something real quick, y'all,
It can't be
please.
right
has
and
So
wrong.
this is how I'm
music
gonna
as a
break that
culture.
down. You
That
said
should be
name
the
another ethnic group. Most ethnic group have a culture.
They don't have-
You talk about
But what do
Chinese
they
people
call
have
their
a culture.
What do they call their culture specifically? They don't call
Okay,
it hip
so
hop.
The
They don't
exactly,
Chinese
call it
but
nothing.
culture,
And when
exactly.
the
we refer to
Mexican
it, we
No,
call
culture.
it the Chinese culture, the
I'm proving
Japanese
your
culture,
point, Bobby Ye.
Asian
I'm proving
culture.
your
Go ahead,
point.
brother.
It was
Our
hard for
Well, they
our
have
culture
different
is soul
cultures.
food. Our culture is being black in general.
It was
Anything
called
else that
tradition. Culture means what's your tradition?
Culture is a
Traditionally,
cult.
what's yours?
our tradition is black people or mine's personally.
No. Exactly. So if you got a personal thing, it can. We ain't talking about your personal. If we talking about the culture,
We talking about the collective.
something that everybody
Okay.
in unity agrees on. We too smart up here to be going through this little.
Okay, so the black
tactics.
so the black culture. I
Respectfully.
mean, the black culture. See, the one thing about that is too, when it comes to us and only us on this planet, our culture is it can start becoming confusing because we ain't even a part of our original culture.
If I say, give me something at the Asian culture, you're gonna think about dragons and Chinese this and da da da, right? If I give you something about the Mexican culture, you're gonna get to talking about Cinco de Mayo, tacos, blah blah blah. When you get to talking about the black culture, what you talking about?
Our
Put a stamp on it.
music
Our
contribution.
music.
That's it.
No, it's a lot. But if you would give us the time, as we have given
I
you the
didn't
time
need
to
time to
express,
say
Black
taco. I
culture
didn't
is
need time to say
ingenuity.
dragons.
Okay, but
I
if you
didn't
say
need time to say karate.
if you say
and I
taco
said
and
music,
dragon,
and you
we
said
can
that's
say
it.
okay,
We have a lot
tacos
of
and karate.
contributions to America
I'm
that
not saying what our
defines our
contributions
culture.
are.
Bro,
That
tacos and karate.
we
Listen.
have a lot of contributions to America that defines our culture. What is a culture? A culture is a collective practice of customs, of religion, of music, of dance, of medicine.
What is your tradition? We don't
I'm
have
gonna
a set tradition. We
okay,
don't have
but
one.
I
What is the
think that
black
I
set
think
traditions?
but that's
What
kinda
do you know that you gonna do that make you black?
we
Besides
would
your
need
skin color?
we would need more time to do that in America
Why
because
do we
everybody
need
else
more
been doing
time to
what
do
they
that
doing.
in America? We've
They've
been
been
here
doing
for
because
hundreds of
everybody else, the
years.
Chinese culture, 5,000 years old, bro.
That
So
is
Culture is the
facts.
customs,
And
the art,
so the
the
same way
social
you said
institutions,
Chinese
the
people, you said
achievements of a
Mexicans.
particular
I
nation.
wish we had some Africans up here so I could ask them that same question because they civilization been around way longer than that,
Okay,
right?
Mo.
But we
Mo,
Americans
let me
though.
ask you a
We
question,
American
Mo.
black.
Let me ask you a question. The arts and other manifestations of human intellectual achievements, has that ever happened with black people in America? Of course. That is one of the definitions of culture.
Yeah,
The art.
let me finish. Can I please land my first point? You said when you was
My
talking,
fault.
I
Don't
want
let
to
that brother
rebuttal something. I want to rebuttal something. You said, okay, we
Go
think of the
ahead.
Mexican culture, we think of tacos, whoop de whoop. We think of them, we think dragons, you think of this, you think of that. Okay, the black culture, we can say basketball and soul food. That's our culture. The same way you said tacos, the same way you said tacos, we
I
got
ain't
soul
supporting
food.
that
Eating
one.
that shit, Africa. You can't date that shit back to the motherland.
Hey,
But
but this the thing.
but
You can't really,
we're the American black man. We're
you
American
can't.
blacks.
And that
Africans
goes
don't
back
rap.
to what I was saying earlier when I was saying we have to get inside our
Hey,
own
we do
realm.
have a
Exactly.
tradition.
But bro,
We do have a
that's my
tradition.
point. That's my point on when I said we black Americans need more time. The whole world got us beat as far as
Man,
time.
No, we
fuck all that.
don't.
Look, watch this. On Stevie Wonder Bean, our culture is resiliency. Our
Facts.
There you
culture
Hello.
go.
is strength. We
There
are
you
the
go.
Hello.
most inflicted people on the face of the
Now
Masculinity.
planet,
we
and
talking.
yet
Masculinity.
we
Ingenuity.
continue to overcome. That's our culture.
Now we
That's our
talking.
tradition. We have a
Mhm.
tradition to stand up against
No,
injustices.
we don't.
Huh?
We have
What?
a tradition in being in defense mode, in survival mode. We have
I disagree.
that is
That's
I
our
still
disagree.
standing
What
up
is
against
resiliency?
Mhm.
injustices.
Tell
Resiliency is
me.
being
You
able to
say
go through the
resilience,
hardest shit in
I
the
say
world and still
defense.
come out on top.
Yup, we the
That's
only
Not on
resiliency.
people.
top.
We the
We
only
just
Ain't
better
people.
than
nobody
where we
fucking with
were.
us. We have a tradition of being strong.
Yeah,
We have
yeah,
a
Moses.
Yeah,
we
That's
have
the
a
we
same
do.
thing you said. Yeah, that's resiliency, Moses.
Now we talking. Now
Okay.
we're talking. Now we can put together a set of principles on resilience and strength and endurance and education, because we are the ones. You see what I'm saying? So now that means we have to put that into play. That means at every Black household, we should be working on resilience, education. You know what I'm saying? Strength. If we're not working on those in a whole, like if that's not the thing that what you do when you shit, nigga, we resilient. Nigga, we gonna overcome anything. We don't give up. We
Part
matter
of
of
our
fact, we
cultures, we
invent new
hard headed
things.
as hell too.
We
though.
manifest. We are manifestors. I start calling myself a manifestor now when I get around other people, because I need you to know who you're talking to. You see what I'm saying? Because the words that's coming out my mouth is changing the world.
Righteous.
It's been developing the world for so many hundreds of years.
If we had a
Either the
leader
sweat
right
off
now,
your
will
back,
we all follow
the
him as
words
a
out of your
collective?
mouth, or the thoughts out your head.
It depends on what he got. These youngsters, they want somebody to lead them, but they want it to be lead me fashionably, lead me in Gucci, lead me with Louis Vuitton on and all that. This is the truth. This is the truth on PJ Watt's Crip, on Stevie Walla Beans. These youngsters want to be led, but they want you to look a certain type of way,
which is cool, but they kids.
Okay. And as a people, a lot of people aren't going to follow certain people unless you can incentivize the movement. You can't lead the people if you can't feed the people. It's how a lot of people interpret it.
What you said, brother, was beautiful. What you said was beautiful, brother. However, I don't know if those qualities that we have as Black people, I don't know if that shifts to define culture, because culture got a definition to it. Culture is more so culture. If you the definition of culture, I don't know it verbatim, but the culture is like
you got a
the
phone
arts,
in your hand, nigga, Google it.
the arts, the institutions. It's what a people has created. Exactly what they created. It's the arts. Okay, so down south white people.
Art? What have you created in the last 50 years?
Hip hop. Are you what?
Hip hop.
Hip hop is the most influential thing on the planet, bro.
So again, like I've been saying, so the black culture is now hip hop.
No, well, I mean, but we gotta stop. We gotta stop. I mean,
art. Now you trying to put somebody in a trick bag, brother.
I'm only rebuttaling what you're saying.
No, but you said, bro, Chinese people culture is karate. Son. You said Chinese people got karate.
No, karate comes with a whole thing behind it. Like they got schools and they teach you lessons, and it got principles and all kind of things.
I think we downplaying hip hop. I think we downplaying hip hop.
Hey, Lil Jojo said our culture is African culture. What the fuck y'all talking about?
Now, what's the African culture?
I ain't gonna even call him that. Yeah, I ain't gonna even call him out his name. He's misinformed. I would love for him to come up.
I don't eat with my hands. I don't do none of that. Not even to disrespect nobody how they do it. I'm saying if I was at my mama table eating with my hands, I'd have got slapped.
Right.
Let me ask you a question, bro.
Forks.
I don't think you mean masa. I think you mean fufu, cuz.
What's Black?
What do I call it? Masa? Yeah. It's the same thing, though, right?
Let me ask you a question, bro. What's Louisiana culture for Black people? Louisiana culture for Black people, the Creoles.
Bayou.
No, it's not. It's the black paper. It's the paper bag test.
Seafood, jazz music.
Nah. That's only because that's right there.
Hoodoo. But they got their religion. Hoodoo.
No. Because that's not something that everybody in that area.
That's a cultural
I'm speaking generally. Speaking generally, brother.
Yeah. So in general, the paper bag test. If we're talking about Creoles, that's something that most of the people do.
Mm-hmm.
Not eat crab and shit like that. That's just because it's there and it's free.
But see, I think we having a confusion on the definition of culture.
Wait, hold on, man.
No.
We can't relegate a culture to a specific food item.
No, not food, but it's a whole. It's a whole feel. It's a whole feel. It's the jazz. It's the music.
What other culture eat tacos?
Look,
we
brother.
all do.
No, I know we all do.
What I'm
making some burritos right now. But
listen, where'd you get that shit from, man? You ain't learned that shit from no Africans, man.
No, culture.
No, wait.
Whoa, Bobby.
Hold on. Bobby, all right, go ahead.
First of all, most of that shit.
I need somebody to Google the definition of culture.
Hold on. Let the brother speak.
Huh? Me or the other?
Yeah,
brother?
you.
Yeah, man. The burrito, the shit with the bread, and you roll it up and all that. Ethiopians been had something like that. They just made it out something different.
You
They got
can't
the
say
horchata
something
from
like that
Morocco,
because if that's the
from the
case,
Moors.
masa
Huh?
is the
All
same
the
as the other
ceviche came from the Moriscos. Who you think the Moriscos is?
But all of it came from Africa.
Yep.
Tortas came from Africa. Horchata came from Africa. So what are we talking about, man?
Because you speaking about way back in the first civilizations.
But you said culture. Nah, that's
But
within
you said
slave
culture.
times.
Nah, because I'm
Mexico
telling
was a
you
slave
now,
nation,
they
just
not
like
they not
America.
eating,
Let's be
they
clear
not
about
eating
that.
They're not drinking that. They're not drinking hashata. You're not going to Africa to get no damn hashata.
They call it something different.
They
You
call
can
it
go to
something
That's what
Africa.
I'm
different.
You can go to
saying.
Africa and get
And
some
yuca, they
Spanish
eat
rice. They just call it
cassava.
jollof rice.
A lot of Spanish people eat what they call yuca. It's cassava,
Right.
yam and thing like that.
It's
That's what they
right.
eat.
It's the rice because that's what hashata is. It's like a rice.
Hey, Bobby, can you do me a favor, brother?
All depends on what
Do
it
you do?
is.
Oh, come on, bro. Hey, so I think you
Hold
got
on,
your whole
Bobby.
setup. Are you able to Google the definition of culture while you stay on here? Because I'm not.
The brother just gave it to us, but
Oh, I
I do
wasn't
that.
listening. I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
It
It's
is
got to
the
be a
arts
group
and
thing.
other
Hey,
if it's
manifestations
not
of
a group
human
practice,
intellectual
hold on.
achievement. Oh.
One more time. One more time. Hey, Freedom, you want us to just call you Freedom, or what's your name, brother?
Yeah, man. Hey, man. I'm just starting the stream. You call me Freedom. I was thinking about Black Light to shine light on shit, but fucking Freedom cool
Black
with
Light
me.
is cool.
But this
Black
is
That
Light.
sounds cool
definition.
Okay,
too.
for sure,
That's
Black
cool
Light.
too.
Now go ahead
All
and
right.
give us that definition.
For sure. All right. So the definition is culture, the arts and other manifestations of human intellectual achievement regarded collectively. Point 2, the customs, arts, social institutions, and achievements of a particular nation, people, or other social group.
So basketball, hip hop, that ain't part of our culture.
3, in biology, maintain tissue, cells, bacteria, and conditions of suitable for growth. But that's a scientific one. But yeah, that's the definition.
Hey, brother Adana Baraka, would you like to come on? We would love for you to join us, brother. Can you please come on?
Hold on.
Please come on.
By definition, so who was wrong about culture? Now, Mister, somebody needs to look up the definition of culture.
Well, what I'm saying,
I think I was
arts,
right because I said.
Well, what is arts? What is
Tradition,
arts? Music ain't an art.
Mosaic, wasn't you
Music
saying
is
that
an
music
art.
wasn't hip hop?
Basketball ain't an art.
Hip hop is graffiti, breakdancing, beatboxing, DJing, and MCing.
Okay.
That's the 5 elements. Kara's one told us that.
They
Now,
added the
as
5th
a
one,
whole,
wasn't it
they're
4?
using that to say this is all you
Yeah,
guys are.
5 elements. Yeah.
This is all you niggas are. Is them 5 elements.
But we do that to everybody
we're
else.
just saying
We
that
asked you, bro.
aspect of
We asked
music.
you about somebody else's culture. You said Chinese culture. You said Mexican culture is tacos and
Yeah, I gave you something. I gave you something that could be dated all the way back to for before Asia wasn't together.
But we
You
only
see what
got
I'm saying? Because you gotta
1865
remember,
forward.
talking about
it was 2 sides
civilization
of
or
Asia not
culture,
too long
Mosaic?
ago. They were fighting against each other in the Civil War.
Hey, who the hell is Mosaic?
So you got to remember these things. We're
What's
talking
the
about the
brother up there
things that
name?
carry on, that have been carried on. It's
I would say-
tradition. Your
I would say
culture,
hip
what
hop
you
is number
stand
1.
on, what's your principles? What's your, you feel me?
Hey, look, JoJo, you a troll, bro.
Gospel
This is
music. What about gospel?
We don't have that.
What about
We don't even
gospel? The
have
black
a
culture is the
culture yet, is
church.
what I'm
Even though we
saying.
got our
My whole
different
thing
ways
is,
now and our way
We
thinking,
have a
but everybody
culture.
came from a church
American blacks.
somewhere.
American blacks got a culture, bro.
We
Wait, you
left
said
the
I
church.
disagree.
Wait, hear me out.
defined it for
Did
me then.
everybody grandma not come from the church?
Our culture, if I had to use
Did her
one
grandmother
word,
come from
if
the
I had
church?
to use
Did
one
they have
word,
wonderful
what
music that made
defines
jazz? Did they have wonderful music that made different genres that came from the church originally?
I'm saying, what is the black ex-slaves culture besides what my guy Ye said, being strength, resilience,
influence?
all the things?
Influence.
Ain't none
We're
of
the
those
most. We're the
ex-slaves.
most
So how do we
influential.
know them,
We're the most influential humans on the
I
planet
agree with
Earth.
that. But
We
does that
are. I
mean
know.
that
And
are we
so,
doing this purposely or just niggas? They just looking at niggas.
now, what we do purposely, now we got to talk about basketball is an art. So is rap. Can't
No,
nobody
it's
else.
not.
Can't
I
nobody
can
else do
teach
it,
you how to be a baller, P.
huh?
I can teach you how to be a basketball player.
But you can teach a black man how to be a basketball player.
No, I don't. I can teach a cripple how to be a basketball
And
player.
how that, and you know what I'm saying, and execute it and apply it on the court.
Yeah, they got. actual people
Come
that play
on, bro.
basketball in
Hey, yo,
wheelchairs
hold on. Let's go to the video
Come on,
log.
bro.
We have to go to the park,
that
son. Take
didn't
us to
play
the park with you
basketball
right
when they was
now,
on their
son.
feet.
No.
Because I'm in a wheelchair. I'm telling you facts.
No,
I know
I
people. I
understand
played
that.
ball when I was on my feet. I don't play in my chair, but I went and seen
No.
them.
Okay,
And
you can teach
I
somebody
don't
how to
know.
rap too, but you can't teach somebody how to influence the world by rapping. That's only
No, you
something that's
can't
in
even teach
us.
What?
black
Wait,
folks.
hold on, wait, pause.
It's
You said
only
what?
one.
I said you can teach a person how to rap, but they can rap. We got all types of other race people that rap, but you can't teach somebody how to influence the world through their music
That's
besides
a
the black
lie.
man.
That well, you said
He
okay.
keeps
At
saying.
first, you didn't say
Besides the
besides the
black
black
I
man.
was
man.
like, because them Russian
Okay,
kids was
okay,
fainting
No,
on Michael
okay.
besides the black
Jackson,
man.
boy.
You can we can rap. You can take one of the rappers you can take a Future. Do you understand? Or a Kanye West or a Pac or a Big or
Like in that
Ice
movie
Cube,
Sinners,
Snoop
right?
Dogg.
When the
Like
white
what?
people vampires were trying to go to Sam, he's like, you got something good. You know, you got a gift. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You can
Mhm.
speak to the world.
Yeah,
Listen.
And
that's our
I'm gonna read.
gift.
Hey, let me read this just real quick. Linus Bass says our culture is everywhere. In every so-called race, religion, everything has been stolen from the so-called black people of the Americas. It was a time where there was nothing but black under this firmament. I agree with you on that partially.
Me too.
Partially.
Well,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
agree too. Cause look, let me say, I was just telling my brother
if
this last night, right? I said that, see, you saying the hip hop culture, you got to understand how influential it is. You can see, I live in Phoenix, Arizona. You can see a
I used to
white
live
woman in
in Phoenix.
Scottsdale. You can see a white woman in Scottsdale, right? From the bag she carrying, she driving a G-Wagon, all of that shit. She subconsciously is being influenced by the black culture and don't even know it. Okay, Gucci wasn't around from like what 1990 all the way to 2010. It came back around when we started wearing it.
Yeah,
We
Adidas.
influenced cars. We
we
influenced
never
the
stopped
cars
wearing
that are
that shit.
driven. We influenced the clothes that are being worn. We
So
influenced the
so
restaurants that people eat at. We
The way he
influenced
got his
everything.
hat on backwards right now,
all
bro.
right,
Yeah,
It
now
used to be
listen
exactly.
to
like
this.
that's a
Now,
stupid
all
way to
right, now
wear
to
hats,
Wearing
but
rebuttal that.
everybody's
earrings,
doing
wearing
it.
jewelry,
Listen
wearing
to rebuttal that, right?
Balenciaga.
And this is just to make us think.
Big booty
It's not that I
bitches.
don't agree with you.
Facts,
I
facts,
just be
facts.
wanting people to think on all levels because every level matters, right? Everybody's opinion matters, right? If y'all talking about that influence and that type of influence, I would say taking the bath and using washcloths probably would
Facts.
have been a
Yep.
better example
Yeah.
because that was something that everybody does.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that was something that was done intentionally. You see what I'm saying? Uh, uh, um, Hip hop wasn't done intentionally. It was something. It was the music was already there.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
could
It
take you
clicked.
back. I could take you back to the '60s and say, they've
Yep.
been doing it. It
Yeah,
just wasn't called hip hop.
funk music, cameo,
Even
all of them.
before
They
Bebop.
then. Even
yeah.
The
before
quad,
Hip-hop.
then.
the quadruplets, what they call when it's four
We talk
people
about
singing.
we talking about back in the 20s,
Quintuple,
the 30s, and the
Oh
40s.
wow, yeah. I'm
Yeah,
40, so I go
the
back as
30s
far
and the
as
40s.
cameo, and I
Yeah,
was in all of that.
I mean, we all 40 here. I hope close to. Uh,
right.
uh, now I'm saying back to the 1940s, 1930s
yeah.
is
That's
what
what I'm
I'm
talking about.
telling you.
The
Not 40
quartets.
years ago, not 30 years ago. No, I'm talking about 20, 30 years before hip hop. You can go back to it and hear people bebop.
Right.
See, the words just
Mm-hmm.
changed. They was calling it something different.
What about when they
But
was
we
dancing
been doing
on salt?
this. Huh?
And they throw some sand on the floor and they start sliding and shit way before James Brown did that. You know when they put the shit on the floor and they
Oh
start.
yeah,
What's
but
the name of that dance that niggas
we
used to
not
do
talking
back?
about cooning and making cooning cool.
Nah, but niggas really
Mm-hmm.
used to do that though.
No, but
Can I
that's what
have,
they used to call it back then when you
Oh,
dance
it
with
was
them white
cooning.
folk
Oh
and doing all
damn.
can
that.
I
They
ask you a
call
question,
it.
Bobby? A?
I
I
thought it
want to
was
ask you
Yes,
a
Cameron
sir.
Coon.
question.
You can
Now
ask
I
you
your
are
want
entertaining.
I want to I want to ask all y'all a real question because I say this all the time. Do y'all brothers feel like as black men, everything we've been through from the all the way back to the slavery and all that, do you feel like us as black men, there's something that the world knows about us that we haven't discovered yet, and that's
Yeah.
why all of this shit happened to us? Because even going back to the Bible, from the whole verse where it says my people will be taken into captive on boats and chains, and nobody else got put on no boats. And so
going to a land un of their own,
I think
and they
there's
shall worship.
some.
a stone
People
and
was
Yes,
wood.
put on
yes.
vote.
I think there's a piece. I think there's a piece of knowledge somewhere that they are keeping from us that we have not found yet, and that's why we can have these type of conversations. And it's like we all got good points, but there's no definitive answer yet. It's because the definitive answer we haven't found it yet, as
Well,
far as
well,
black people.
John
I
Smith
think we
took
have found it,
Pocahontas
right?
to England and named her Sarah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He was on a boat, and they took Native Americans to Spain and to England as
That's
slaves.
how everybody got where he was at. So that's why I don't know
So
what he was
niggas
talking
wasn't
about.
the only ones in boats.
Yeah.
Yeah, in boats, and then you got to look back at that
You
time.
said we
A
wasn't the
lot of
only ones.
He said we
these
wasn't the
other
only
countries
ones.
that was mentioned was technically Africa. The geography got broken down so much, just like they separated Egypt from Africa. The geography got broken down so much over the last 5,000 years that we can say, oh no, well they took them from Persia. Also, Persia was Africa back then.
Whoa, whoa,
that whole
whoa. Persia,
continent
you
was
talking about
considered to be
Babylon?
Africa, right?
Five
Before it
thousand
Persia's
years
became
ago, I
Iran.
believe Persia was Africa. It was black people
listen,
populating that entire
it
region
wasn't called
5,000 years
Africa.
ago. Hmm?
It wasn't
Persia
called
No,
Africa
it
existed
for
wasn't
one.
even called
So that's
4,000
why
Africa.
you
years
can't
ago.
find the information you're looking for. For two, you feel what I'm saying? It's a time called the Renaissance. And during the Renaissance is when they burnt all that information up. And they
Mm-hmm.
tell you it, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
they was trying to get rid of all of Alexander the Great's history,
Mm-hmm.
right? And anything that got to do with him, the Moors, and anybody else that was black in power. That's what it all really was about. Because
That's
they
right.
had a time before that called the Dark Ages when we ruled.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So then any small piece of that from America, if you was educated in America in like 1956, 57, or a bill was passed in the 1950s that illegalized all that information that would lead you to that, right? And
Right.
now
That's
instead
funny.
of going against the Pentagon, now you have an American inside of the Vatican ship, and it's all gonna come out because the Vatican, which is the oldest government written in history,
Right.
has
Right.
all that information that they say they burned that you don't have, that you looking for, and this and that and that and this throughout the times. So now we're gonna get it in the next 10 years. We're gonna get that information because we knew they didn't send this first American Pope in there to get
We're
the
not going to get
information.
that. We're
We
not
ain't
going
gonna
to
get
get that.
shit.
We're not going to get that.
Not us.
That's a fallacy. We are not going to
The
get
biggest
those.
secret
You don't
ever.
think we're gonna get that information?
No, we're
The
not. You
same
know why?
information that Putin
Because it
just
awakens.
gave you?
It
He
awakens the
gave you some
God
of it
within
already.
you. It
Yeah.
awakens the God to you, and they say information makes a man unfit to be a slave. We would
Mm-hmm.
no longer be able to be ruled, controlled, and our actions be dictated by their influence anymore if they release the true identity of who we are, what we are, and where we really come from. They're not going to
We
do that.
never
That's a
have.
fact.
We never have.
We
They're
never
not
have
going to
what?
do it willingly. They won't do it
If we
willingly.
had done that,
Man,
it
them
would have never
people ain't
been a
opening that shit
we
up that they
wouldn't be
stole
here
from
right now.
Egypt.
If we
They're not
Mm-hmm.
doing that
ever
shit.
Yeah.
accepted,
Yeah.
if we had ever accepted those policies that they give us and those type of we wouldn't be here right now for sure because we would be slaves.
If we didn't what?
If our past people it didn't like not go with that shit, it wouldn't have been no like slaves is freed and Harriet Tubmans and
Wait, can you be
you
more
see what I'm
specific?
saying?
Yeah, can you be a little bit more specific because what you're saying
Okay,
is
you said
ambiguous.
that with information and all that, like we'll never go back to that, right? We've never had a time in
I
our
didn't say we
history.
would never go back to that. I said that if they release that information, it'll make us unfit to be up under their rule and their
we've never
influence
been up under
and
their
their
rule.
brainwashing. How the fuck we have not?
Because we're
When we
That's
when
all
we
we've
just
been doing, brother.
then
That's
that's
all we've been
we
doing.
be doing. We
This
just talked
is
about
what
how
I
we
learned.
inflict pain
This
and
is what
torture
I
one
learned
another
this year.
because of what we learned from the Europeans.
This is what the Europeans see again. So how do you learn anything from a person or peoples that was taught with your information that you was God-givenly supposed to get passed down
They
to?
infiltrated. They were a wicked people. They were willing to kill babies, kill innocent women, and do
about
things
the
that
Dark
we was
Ages,
not
the
willing to do.
Renaissance.
I understand that, but you did not use the specifics. You did not go specifically into it. We
I
are
didn't
still,
have to. That's for
we
them
are
to go
still a
look it up.
trusting. We are still an empathetic, sympathetic, welcoming people, and it's always to our detriment.
Is
That's
it
how
true
they.
that we really
That's
didn't
how
have
they
warfare
acquire
before
power from
Shaka
us.
Zulu?
Who that reminds you of, Bobby Ye? Who
Like
that reminds you of,
before,
Bobby
is it
Ye?
true, or was it just the movie when they said that we didn't really kill as much? Like it'll be like one big warrior against one in a war,
And
like
then
a
it
Shaka
stopped.
Zulu.
We never engaged in the world wars. And if me and you is beefing, Long as it's equitable, long as we ain't doing no, what is it called, heinous acts against each other, then the other African nations sat back and said, let them niggas do their thing.
Okay, so you telling me when it was just two world powers and they was trying to bring over, it was always a world war. They just didn't call it that. This is just new age rhetoric in conversation.
Give us another world war. Give us another world war before World War I.
Yes, because
give it to us.
What?
Give us some examples, brother.
All right, when the Moors took over everybody, when Alexander
the Moors
Great
didn't take over nobody. The Moors just had knowledge,
and they named everything.
They didn't use violence. They didn't use violence. They had knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and a better quality of living, and people were influenced by that.
Yeah, I think you confusing.
Okay, but I think an example could be Egypt, ancient Egypt.
Like that. War have categories to it, and when war have categories to it, this is something that you learn.
You said world wars, brother.
Listen, okay, it's a world war only because the powers of that be are having a war.
That's not a world war.
That's is when the powers of head of powers of state have a war. Yes,
so I guess Israel and Iran fighting, that's a world war. So I guess Russia and Ukraine fighting, that's a world war.
What?
Spain wasn't in power when the Moors went up there. There was the disheveled people, the Vandals.
Hell no, they wasn't.
How Spain didn't have the power, and they was barbarians. That gave Christopher Columbus all the money. Christopher Columbus
before Christopher Columbus, brother.
More
they
money
was there from 7-Eleven. Christopher Columbus
he was considered to be an outlaw in Spain.
7-Eleven, brother.
7-Eleven.
You wrong on that one, Heedy. On this one, you wrong. You wrong on this one.
History.
You wrong on history.
Why you think the boats is in Spanish?
The Moors were the year 7-11. Christopher Columbus was 1492 when
that is there.
Blue.
Yeah.
Listen what I'm telling you, right? I said Spain was in power at that time. Christopher Columbus came over. Y'all see now what you're trying to do is add two different things together. You asked me for one. Moors, when was there another world war?
I thought he was talking about Moors too. Okay, that was a minor misunderstanding, brother.
Powers of the world. So if the Western world wasn't here yet, so if Europe was considered the world and Asia was considered the world, anytime that you went from Europe to Asia having a war, it was a war because that was considered
that
the
is not a world war.
That's not true.
That is not a world war. That is not
what makes a war a world war?
A world war.
Look up. Can we look up that
every
definition?
government in the world beefing. Okay, we can definitely look it up.
I think it would have to be. I think it would have to be
the iPhones, my brother. We got.
I think that it would have to be multiple independent countries fighting each other separately for separate causes to become a world war. That's just my opinion, though.
It have to be the powers of
they had allies. They had allies going against other allies.
I got it. I got the definition. Y'all want the definition or don't?
Please give it to
me. I got it for you, brother. A war.
I fuck with you though, bro.
Hey, we fuck with each other. A war involving, this is the definition of world war. A war involving many large nations in all different parts of the world.
That's what I thought.
The name is commonly given to the wars of 1914 to 1918 and 1939 to 1945, although only the second of these was truly a global war.
So what did I think my definition was? I said I'm not sure, but I think it would have to be multiple independent countries fighting amongst each other in order for it to become a world war.
Countries, not just random countries.
You're
Say
wrong
it again, Say it again.
A war involving many large nations in all different parts of the world.
Random large nations, bro.
Not
random large nations.
Countries.
It didn't say random.
Whole strongholds, nations.
A world war is an international conflict that involves most or all of the world's major powers. Conventionally, the term is reserved for two major.
So we've had world wars. If any time the major powers government,
no.
All right,
you're not going to take a Muslim or Christian approach to this and use words to sway people. No,
I want us to move on because
that was good though.
Different things.
He tried that. He tried that.
Christians do that. Look, this is what the Christians do to get you to say that you're a Christian. If you believe that our Lord and Savior died and was resurrected on the third day, it's the way that we manipulate words.
Move on to better and bigger things.
Hold on, but one more example. It's the same thing that the Muslims do. The wind is a Muslim because it submits to the will of Allah. A dog, a cat, a
Hell
pigeon.
no.
The stork. Man, this
That's
is what
not
they
what
tell
I'm
you,
doing.
Paul. Man, it's the way that we manipulate words.
No, I'm not. What I'm saying is this. I'm saying this.
Totally
If a world war is anytime the strongholds get together and go to war, then that means anytime it wasn't no Western government.
That's not what the definition said, brother.
Wait. Would France invading the Americas and England invading the Americas be considered a world war because the Native Americans were fighting?
No, because Asia wasn't involved.
In the continental U.S.
Because
that seems
Asia
more like
wasn't
a
involved.
world war.
Because Asia wasn't involved.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Because Asia was not involved.
No, I said native. No, when France came over killing Indians, and when England came over,
did you hear what I just said?
Huh?
I said no because the Asians wasn't involved.
So
Asia
you have
had their own big. They was a big.
Yeah, it would have to be a big. It would have to be a big.
They was going at it with the Japanese and the Koreans.
So I think it would have to be. It would have to be United States, Asia, Russia, and the Middle East at the same time.
Well, at only the Middle East now.
Yeah.
Back then, no. Back then, it only had to be Asia, Europe, who was considered the other side of Asia. You feel what I'm saying? And Africa.
So when did that happen before World War I?
But when England and Europe took over Africa, you got to remember that Africa is considered to be Europe too.
What?
Huh?
What?
Because from the Middle, because of look, listen what I'm saying. If England, listen,
I'm about to call this nigga Heedy. I've been on this line too long.
right? England only had the government. England had the government. It was no set government in Africa, bro.
Whoa!
Wait, what is he talking about?
That wasn't.
We the one taught them politics. We the one taught them how to establish governments.
Hey, yo,
we had governments.
The black culture is washing your ass. What you think the Moors?
With Alexander the Great in Africa, that wasn't necessarily a war.
I know you ain't say that, Edie.
With Alexander,
have you ever heard the Mali Empire? How about the Nok?
I heard all that shit, but it was empires. It wasn't like a government that ruled the world.
Ashanti Hene.
How do you have an empire without having
the Persian Empire?
How do you have a government?
Africa is.
How do you have an empire without having a set government? No.
I think
how do you have it? No, hell no.
Persia had a government.
How do you have a?
I think we.
How do you have an empire without having a set government?
Huh?
How do you have an empire without having an established and a set government?
Small regimes is not a set government.
No, come on.
That's not an empire neither, though, bro.
So it took you to war and defeat. It took you to war and defeat and to make your shit an empire.
No, Persia had an empire. No other Middle Eastern country since they combined as Persia was an empire.
I'm telling you now.
Charlie's full.
Saudi Arabia is not an empire.
Hey, dog, what's up with this vodka, fool?
I never said shit about Arabia. So that's what I'm saying. You putting your own understanding on what I'm saying.
No, what I'm saying, brother.
Simply this.
No, what I'm saying, brother.
The powers of the world. Anytime the powers of the world fight to all at one time against each other, it's called a war, right?
So what happened? I agree with that. That's what me and Bobby been trying to say.
Example of when it was a world war back then, they just didn't call it that.
When before World War I did the whole world fight?
It was only two governments.
That's not a world war.
That's not a world war.
Look, bro, your example. Let me say this, Bobby. Your example.
World war is when the powers that be get together and fight each other.
We read that, but which conflict before the world wars?
Powers that be.
But you was gonna tell us
that's by default. That's your own definition, which I understand what you're
doing.
By
default, if I'm going by definition.
So if one country, if it's only one empire that controls the world, whoever they fight,
it wasn't no world war then. Not if it was only
nah, brother.
But the Asian,
hey, Charlie is holy. What are you talking about?
The Asians always been his own empire. Even when we took information,
the Asians always been. Wait. Did he say the Asians always been?
No, they haven't.
Own empire?
They've been fighting each other for the last 5,000 years, bro.
How not?
They've been fighting each other the whole time.
The Asians have not been their own empire
amongst each other.
So
Asia's not an empire. It's a continent.
So you tell it.
Thank you.
Wait a minute,
Russia
time out.
is
Say it
an
again.
with several different
Asia,
empires.
Asia's not an empire. The only empires there been was Romans, Persians. It's when
No, no,
several
no, no,
countries.
that's not true. The Ottoman Empire,
Yeah,
the
the Ottoman.
Mongolian Empire.
No,
There's
I
been
was gonna keep going, brother.
Where
okay.
I
the
was gonna
My
keep
bad,
going.
my
Mongolian
bad,
Empire come
my
No,
from?
I was
bad,
All
gonna
my
keep
that.
going.
bad.
No,
Mohenjo-daro.
it's when
Y'all crazy.
when countries I don't know. It's when countries join forces. Like Persia, they had what they had. Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq. It was several countries. Like you can't just say because Asia's a continent, they don't even get along with each other in Asia. How are
Right.
they an empire?
What does
The
that mean?
Japanese was beefing with the Chinese until the
That's like
Chinese
saying
said we beefing, we gonna come together.
North
Okay, so would
America,
you
South
consider
America
the
is an
Romans
empire.
fighting the Persians a world war, or
That's
just two
not
empires?
saying North America and South America is an empire.
If you saying that Asia's an empire, that's just as legit, bro.
But we'll go back then and see you breaking it up like now instead of breaking it up back in the context of when I
But
was
there were
talking about.
broken up
So I
empires
mean, you
back
could
then.
it's all about how you taking it. You feel me? If we're talking about one time and I say this out my mouth, and then you try to compare 1,000 years of different, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
No,
give us
Say,
I'm
oh, they
going.
breaking up now.
I'm going off the
Breaking up as
definition of
two
what the word
powers,
combat
empire
that,
and
means.
you take
to
away from
combat
the
that,
history of what I'm
to
saying,
combat
and
that,
then it gets confusing.
to combat that, give us a timeline.
Mm-hmm.
I already did.
You didn't tell us which conflict before World War One is considered a world
Give us
war.
a
I did. I
timeline.
said when
Give us a
Alexander the Great took
timeline.
over all them places, and they was calling it Alexandria.
Oh, I thought
No,
you said
that
the
wasn't a
Moors did
world
that.
war.
Why
That
would you
wasn't a
not
war.
consider that? And the
But that
Roman
is
Empire was
1,000 years
destroyed.
after
That
you
was
said
more. That was more infiltration. What
That's not
Persia did.
infiltration. That was the two power heads going at each other.
And what was the other power head?
Europe and
Europe?
Asia.
Greece is a part of
Asia?
Europe.
Man, Rome is a part of Europe.
I said Europe and the Asians.
Oh,
That's
this is
what I just
fun.
said in
This is
Asia.
fun.
So what was that empire that they was battling with?
Asia at that time was broken up into two pieces, not three.
What was the
So that
empire
means
that
that
governed
Iran,
Asia?
Okay, so we have the
Afghanistan.
Macedonians,
That
was
means that all
Alexander
that
the
shit
Great.
right there, all that Middle Eastern, the shit that we look at now, wasn't
Let's not
that.
equivocate.
That wasn't no
Let's not
separate regime.
equivocate.
No, hey,
It
bro.
was
Let's
Just
only
focus.
it was
because
only
Let's not
two
equivocate.
sides. It was
Let's
only
not
two
equivocate.
sides.
What
It
was the
the
other side?
it
that
was
And what is
doesn't
the
Chinese,
timeline?
Japanese, Korean,
that
What was
doesn't make it
in
all
an
that
that side,
empire,
the
empire?
bro.
Alexander the
Mongolian
Great
That
side.
never
doesn't
went to
make
You
it
feel
an
me?
Japan.
And all the
empire.
other
That
sides.
What
doesn't
was
make it
the
an
empire
empire.
that they
Europe.
battled?
Even
What was the
Africa was
empire?
considered
What
to
was the
be
empire?
Europe because the
Africa
Europeans
ain't never been
had
considered
that.
Europe.
Yeah.
No,
It
they
has
never did that like that. What?
empire. It would
Okay.
have
Hey,
to be,
hold
bro.
on,
What
pause.
you?
Daniel,
You
you
get into
agree with
context.
you said the
I guess
No,
that's
Africans
why
was
I agree
Europe?
with you,
Alexandria
Bobby.
was on both
I know
sides
what.
of the
No,
You got to use
Mediterranean
better
Sea.
just because
context,
you
In the
brother.
combine a few
Mediterranean,
They're
countries
just
in the
not
together
coming
do
off
not
the
make
right
it
way,
an
What
empire.
the
the?
Because he's
Mediterranean,
saying,
Africa,
wait,
and all
because
that shit
Rome was
touched.
North
So
Africa, so that was a part of the
we
Roman
come from an
Empire. Is that what
evolution
you
of
mean?
something that they call what did
Is
they
that
used to
what you
call the
mean,
first
brother?
continent
No.
when they were
It's what he
saying
just
that
said. What you
everything
mean?
touched each other, and they
But we
was like,
got,
yeah,
all right,
we only had one
let's just
continent
stay
at
real
first.
Pangea.
straight.
Ambia,
Pangea,
whatever
brother.
the fuck that
You're
shit
talking
was.
about Pangea.
You can't
Yeah.
break it up when you want to break it up and
Oh, he's
not
not
look
talking about
at
empires.
what
He's
we're
talking
And
about
saying.
just
What I'm
hey,
geography.
saying
bro.
is it's not the
But
only time
What
based
the?
on the definition.
nah,
Geography.
bro.
Anytime
Hey,
that the world powers go after each other, it was just considered a world war.
nah, bro.
That's all I
I get
said.
No.
what you're
And
trying to
everybody
do.
else says,
I
"Oh
think
no, it's
he's
not. No, it's
I
not
get what you're
because
trying
of
to
this
do,
and
bro.
that." Yes,
Hell
it
no.
is. If
But
they
just
was
because
the
you
only
pour
world
syrup on
power, if
shit, don't make
Asia
it
and Europe was
pancakes.
the
Thank you.
Just because
all
you
right.
pour syrup on shit, don't make it
You
pancakes,
wrong
bro.
on this one, Haiti.
Okay,
Bro,
I
Hey,
like
already
you
dog,
said
saying,
it.
this fool
I
is on
can't
a
say
sick one,
15
dog.
minutes ago. Fuck it, I'm wrong. Y'all go ahead and do
that's
y'all
cool
thing.
though. I be
No,
wrong
I
hella
want to hear
he
times.
did the
myself
hand
say,
snap.
no, go
Hey,
ahead. You wrong on this one, and woo because it was no explaining to y'all for y'all to get it because that's just y'all concept and y'all
nah, but you can't
understanding.
combine just
Only
because
No,
thing I
countries
no,
are
do is
no.
look
combined.
up
Like,
history.
oh, it was a line between half the Middle East and the other half. That doesn't make it an empire. It
Empire.
has to be a government on one accord
Okay, let's
within
use
those
an
countries in
Thank
iPhone.
order
you.
for it to
Right?
be an empire.
Who did
All right,
Even
let's
though if
Alexander
it
the
use
was a
Great go
let's
against?
use
Let me look it up.
let's use the iPhone. Brother Freedom,
Let
Black
me look it
Lightning.
up.
There we go.
yes,
Which empire went against
it has to
Alexander the
be be, let's say we got, you said,
It
oh,
was
before,
set
well,
government.
half the Middle East was over here and the other half was over there. If
Okay,
those governments
listen.
wasn't
All right,
on one
here it goes.
accord,
Hold
then they
on,
wasn't.
Daniel.
Here it goes.
Let's get the definition. I mean,
The
I'm sorry.
primary empire that Alexander the Great went against was the Achaemenid Persian Empire. He led his Macedonian army to conquer the vast empire, achieving decisive victories at battles like Granicus, Isis, and Guagmela, ultimately leading to its collapse. So it was the Achaemenid Persian Empire. That's who we went against.
And where was that at?
That was in Asia.
Hello, world.
It definitely was Asia like a motherfucker. It
Hello,
wasn't in
world.
Japan, but it was Asia like a motherfucker.
Hello, world.
But that don't mean it was a world war.
That's not a
That
world
was
war.
in Asia.
Okay, let me ask you if it's
World
considered a
powers,
world war.
one on one side,
No,
one on the
It never
other
said
side.
two.
No,
It never said two,
war.
brother.
It was
It never said two.
It's considered a world war.
No, it is
it
not.
never said two.
That was
It
the
never
only.
said two.
No. That's
listen
not
what
true.
I'm saying. Listen what
Brother
I'm saying.
Freedom,
Hold
Brother
on.
Lightning.
Time out.
Can
Okay,
you
I
see
got
what other governments was there
Wait, listen.
outside of their conflict?
I got you.
No, it is
says,
not.
No, the conquest of Alexander the Great was not considered a world war.
Why
While
not?
Alexander's campaigns were extensive and impactful, spanning
No,
Bro,
let
Greece
me
to
finish
India,
so he can
That's
educate
did
me. I
not
don't want to be
involve the level
educated
of
on your
global
land.
participation and interconnectedness characteristics of a world war. World War I, for example, involved fighting across multiple continents and saw unprecedented levels of technological advancements.
So
and
Asia and
scale.
Africa is not two different continents?
Yes, it is. But you just
All
said
right,
it was all
then.
Europe.
That's what
You
I'm
just said it
talking
was
about.
all Europe.
All
You
that
reaching, bro.
rhetoric
You
bullshit
reaching,
y'all
bro.
be listening to.
You reaching, bro.
You're not
Man,
You
going to
you
reaching.
use
contradicting yourself,
curriculum
cuz.
logic.
Dead
We're
homies, and
not
I
going to allow
already
you to
said I
use
was
circle
wrong,
curriculum
but y'all
logic
wanted to
Wait, it
keep
says,
going at it, but
to
you keep
It says
proving
his
manipulate
my
you.
point,
campaigns
though.
primarily
Let him
focused
finish
on the
reading.
Achaemenid
Yeah.
Empire and surrounding regions, not a global conflict involving
But there
multiple
was no
continents and
such
major
thing
powers.
as global at that time.
So there's
It
no
was
such.
That,
Yeah,
global.
was
no,
there
it
people
They say
wasn't,
we
everywhere?
because the
live
new
on a
world
globe.
wasn't here yet.
No,
They
we
was
live
calling
on
it
a
the new
globe.
world. They
Global
called all of
indicates
this
that we
shit
live
over
on
here
a
Basically,
globe.
one
the
No,
new
no, no,
country
no,
going
no,
to
no,
another
no.
country,
Hell
basically.
no, we ain't gonna
I
do that.
swear for Lord.
Global,
Look it
global
up
indicates
yourself.
the globe that we live on.
When did they discover the new world? They didn't even consider that to even be there. They didn't even know that
No,
was
that's
there
not
when
true.
this
The
history was
Africans
being
been had
written.
knowledge knowing what was over there.
Man,
The Africans been went on pilgrimage to this realm of existence.
they
So
didn't
you
they
can't
didn't have
say
shit
that.
over here. They didn't have
Yes,
shit
they
over here.
did.
When we look back at anybody that had any type of government over here, it was that same more government.
In the Aztecs.
What
And the
about the
Mayans.
Tainos?
We don't
The
know what the
Tainos
Mayan and the
a
Aztec government
hierarchy of
is, my
kings and
nigga.
We
queens.
do know what it
We
is.
don't even
That's
know them
history.
people. They
It's been
gone.
documented. It's
They
been documented.
gone.
They still live
Alexander the
there.
Great and all
You
these
don't
people
see a
are gone too,
Mayan.
but
They
we
don't
know
even
what
know
that
what a
shit is.
civilization
Nah,
is.
nah.
How you
bro,
get
because
information from a
even if
people
I
and
show
call it?
you,
Hold on. So why didn't they tell you where they went then? Why they still looking for the Mayans then?
They still
They
alive.
still
They
here.
They
They
live
still
there.
alive.
That's a
What are you
white
talking
person's
about?
Boy,
mind. That's
y'all
a Western
bullshit this
mindset. The
motherfucker,
Guatemalans are
man. I can't
Mayans.
get it.
Yo, I can't
All
believe
right,
this.
I'm a mute. I'm a mute myself from now.
I cannot
You
believe
have
this. I
people
can't
that speak
believe this.
Nahuatl
hey,
even.
I wanted to
They
say
still got Mayans down
no.
there in
Yeah,
Central America.
And sometimes
They
it's
got some
cool.
down there.
Like
That's a
when
fact.
if
They're just not in
I'm
It's
on
power.
this
no,
panel,
Yeah,
I'm on
yeah,
this panel.
and I'm an Indian. You know what
You
I'm saying?
could
'Cause my
be.
mama Cherokee.
You
Yeah,
could
most of
be.
us are.
Yeah,
most
Most
of
of
most
us
us
of us
are.
are. My
Cherokee.
family is Choctaw,
You from North
hmm
and I
Carolina,
can
nigga?
prove that.
My grandfather was Cherokee.
I got my DNA too. And then they said my Cherokee come from the Yucatan, which is weird, but I
I
know
bet
I
you
got some
do.
indigenous. Yeah.
I bet. Yeah, whoever they named them people was. I gave you that name.
Nah, I
Fuck
did the
you
DNA
mean?
test because I didn't believe it because I thought we was part white.
I gave you that name. I
Yeah.
gave you that name. You talk about your slave name, motherfucker. I gave
Pharaoh
you that name.
Ramses. Hold on, let me highlight this from brother Akita, and we can use our phones to research it. But he says Pharaoh Ramses II sent people to the Americas in BC times. But you said we didn't have any prior knowledge to what was
And fun
over
fact,
here.
every Muslim in the world believes that Pharaoh actually
We
ruled
ain't
the
talking
whole
about what the
world.
fuck he
I'm
believed.
just saying
We
that
talk
is a
about
part of the
what we
Islamic
learned in
faith.
them
They believe
history
Pharaoh
books.
So
ruled the
why'd
whole
they
world.
come here if they didn't think nothing was going on over? How would you
Listen,
like?
this was
That's the
not
black
considered
man.
to be a
Also,
world. They was
Cush, if
calling
you
it the
believe in the
new
Bible,
world, P.
Yeah,
Nimrod
Kush,
ruled the whole
Because
yeah.
world.
They
the
was
white
calling it the
folks,
new world, P.
the
I
white
mean, you
folks was
can't
coming
take the
from a
facts
state
and
of
then make it to what
ignorance.
the fuck you
The
want it to
black
make
folks
it.
knew that it was something over here. We already knew that.
We
We
not
had already
all
learned
right.
about shipping lanes.
Okay.
I mean, if we're gonna be honest, let's be
You
honest.
telling me that all these people we talk about did not believe that Asia was the end of one
Bro,
side and Africa
ODB
was
is
the end of the other side.
half Shinnecock Indian from Manhattan, and he's black as fuck.
So and then they said we thought we went to the Indias. When they went to India, they said we thought we was at the Americans because it looked like the same people that we seen last time.
Why
that
do we
seen on
even believe
accident.
the old terms though? You
But
feel
yeah,
me,
I said
bro?
we can't even really go off of that. Like,
Yes, we can, because you're going off the shit you're going off of right now. So we going after all facts. We're not just taking and picking the facts. That's what Christians
but
do.
I'm willing to hear you though, brother.
That's
I'm
what
willing to hear
Muslims
you
do.
with the
Muslims
World
take
War.
pieces and they manipulate you and use the
we
words
got
to
some,
manipulate you.
But with the
in
World
their
War
favor,
topic, I
because
was
they
willing
don't
to
give
hear
you the
you.
whole story.
I'm like, damn, maybe he knows something we don't know when it comes to the World War.
Undoubtedly, I
Like,
do,
but
nigga.
Hey,
Well, give it to us. Give it to us so we
niggas
can
been waiting.
understand it and
It's been an
process it.
hour.
Yeah, give it to us so we can accept it and process it, and hopefully start on the
And that's the thing, Bobby A. Like I said, Bobby A. One thing I'm gonna say, look, I'm a 40-year-old man. I know a little bit. You smart, bro. You smart. And so and with you too, bro, you smart. If you say something, whether it don't matter if I've been believing it for the last 40 years I've been on this planet. If you say something, and if I'm wrong, goddamn, bro, I'm wrong.
All right, so what about when I said I was wrong and did nobody want to accept it? So I had to go back and give you information.
These niggas is foul, bro. You already know these niggas is foul.
That further agrees with what I'm saying.
Yeah, you already know these niggas is foul, bro. I don't fuck with these niggas like that. You already know these niggas be on here capping.
Nah, but I let you know when you was right though. I got a non-bias. But when you I feel like Africans didn't have civilization or something, my brother.
That's not what I said. I never said civilization.
You know,
I said, I think we fail to know how big Africa really is what I said. I said, it is no way to unify a government, one solid government on the African soil. It is no way you can.
Wasn't over in Americas, though.
It wasn't in America. There was no America at this time.
Okay, so I feel
now
like
we get what I'm saying. That's the new world. That shit came later. It don't matter what they said in the history. We sent people over here, over there. That wasn't a set power. It wasn't a set government. It wasn't shit.
Brother, but it's still, regardless if we knew about it or not, it was still a part of the world.
A world war is when the powers that be go at it with each other. So if the powers that be was only two regimes,
that's
by
just
default,
a war.
as you say, I win.
These two regimes, that's just a war, nigga.
Yeah, it's just a war.
That was considered the war. That was considered the world, though, is what I'm saying. It was considered the world. That was the whole world.
It don't matter if we considered it the world. Look, I'm gonna give an example. Well, nah, I won't give an example because I ain't trying to think that much. If it's unfortunately we only knew the world to be two powers, but if there was 5 powers in the world, just because we didn't know about them, don't mean that they didn't exist.
They didn't. That if we didn't know about them in history, that means they didn't matter.
Who history?
All right, you know what?
All
For
history.
Context. Let's look up the
not all history, because in their history, in the Native American history, that's saying they didn't know about Africa. That means Africa don't matter?
The Native American history, that's not American history?
No, before whoever came over here and conquered America with the Pilgrims and all the bullshit.
Natives, so
before that happened, Africa didn't matter because they didn't know about it.
It wasn't called Africa. So when you be looking back at information, if
whatever
you don't know
it was called, whatever it was called,
or the right regime, you don't know that they all talking about countries in Africa. You don't even know they're talking about Africa.
Whatever it was called. Let's say whatever it was called, brother. Like, so
that's why I say Alexandria, because that was on both sides. And you know, sometimes when I say Alexandria, the most stronghold was right at the top. Was on the northern part. Which back in the days, South Africa was considered to be north, and north was south because they went off of how the Nile went, and then the Afrikaners came, the European came, and
I got a context.
That's fine, but what if I said, what if I was an American national? Like, I've been here, my ancestors been here the last 5,000 years too, because it was people over here too, way before we got here. Let's say that for us, Africa didn't matter until whoop de whoop whoop. No, it was a lot of shit cracking in Africa 5,000 years. It's just because you didn't know about it.
See, you taking it out of context and saying people, people wasn't there.
The world.
No, you said America didn't matter before we got here.
That's what I said. That's what I said. It was no government. It did not matter at all.
Says who?
Says
who? Says who?
Of the
Great
world.
Britain,
it wasn't
the United States.
I'm sorry.
The Soviet Union and China. You feel me? It was the Axis powers versus the Allies. The two different, like, it was like, I guess in gangbanging, sometimes people have allied factions or something like that from different areas or different sides.
The hub and the dub. Watson conquered together.
The Crips, the Bloods, the
Allies.
Pyros.
So listen, the Allies was the Americans and those and those different American countries that's aligned with America, and the others was like Germany, Japan, Italy. These were like the Soviet Axis powers. They called the Axis of
Right.
evil. Now all these countries, they had their own turf and their own, I guess, alleged empires or expanses, but they came together, allied together to combat the bigger force. I guess like America was a bigger bulk. You know what I mean?
Who was the bigger force? It wasn't just America, right? Who were we?
No, it was
allies?
America, England, it was America, Great Britain. It just said, yeah, like America a bad motherfucker. And then on the
How
other side was Italy, Germany, Japan. Oh yeah, I mean United States, the Soviet. Oh yeah, okay, China, United States, Soviet. It was a
who
lot. It was America was against a lot of people.
who is this giving us this knowledge
The atom
that's fact
bomb
checking
was a great
everything, Bobby?
equalizer. Don't forget
Huh?
that. He had nuclear power.
Who is this that's fact checking everything for us? I appreciate that, brother.
That's
That's me,
brother
Black
Black
Light.
Light, aka Freedom.
Boulevard.
Okay, I appreciate you, Black Light. I appreciate
Black
Yeah.
that,
Light.
for real, because he doing his thing. He kind of, you know what I mean?
Hey,
He
listen,
putting it
man.
in context.
We
of
need
what
to
Yeah,
we're
talk.
yeah.
talking about.
Hey, exactly, and I love that. We need to try to get together every Tuesday or Thursday, man, and start having these think tanks and encourage other brothers to come on and let's talk about whatever we need to talk about, because sometimes just coming on these platforms and just being able to talk and express, that's therapeutic. You feel what I'm saying? So it
Mm-hmm.
can be rooted in therapy, education, and we can also, introduce some components about
Well, I'm
entertainment and
off
all
on
that type of
Tuesday.
shit. You off on
And I
Tuesdays?
can scream
Yeah.
at y'all like
Let's
Stephen
get
A. Smith.
cracking. Yeah, it's all good. We accept it, brother, even when
I
you
love
wrong.
y'all, man. Every
Even
black
when you
man
wrong
here,
and
I love y'all.
stop it, just go strong. Brother, that ain't gonna make you right, but we your brothers and we love you. On the
No,
real.
he an intelligent brother. That's
Yeah,
one thing I will say. He
highly
an intelligent
intelligent.
brother.
Highly
It's 3
intelligent.
against 1. Thank you. I appreciate
No,
you,
I'm not
family. We
against
all
you. I'm with
intelligent on
you.
this
We all
platform.
together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
a
with you
world
too,
war in
bro.
here,
Like
I'm
I
nigga.
your
said,
Kim
we
show,
we
Tommy
we
with
do our
you.
thing. We gonna have our little jokes and crack, and we can agree to disagree. But like I said, I feel like, which is probably a good way to feel, I'm a novice when it comes to all this history and Black history. I just started getting on this,
I
so
want to
whatever
say
y'all
that
gotta
right here in
say,
that
I'ma
space. I
listen.
want to say that because if you're a novice, if you're a beginner, how
Hmm.
could you potentially challenge anything that brother Dupree says if you're a novice?
The reason why
He keeps making my point. Don't you do it again. Every time he speak, he be making my point on the low. But don't tell him that.
the things that I do know, if he say something that I don't think is accurate, I'm gonna challenge that also. You get what I'm saying? I
Okay.
question all things at the same time as getting information from y'all.
Righteous.
So if you say, that's like saying I ain't got no knowledge of the PJ Watts, Bobby A.
Mhm.
But if you say something, I'm like, the little bit of knowledge I do got, I don't think that's accurate, Bobby. Fill me
I
in.
got
I'm
you.
gonna
Right.
listen to what you guys say, and I'm gonna be like, okay, right on, brother, that's righteous. It makes sense. But if it don't make sense, now we gonna be going for an hour like we just been doing. You get what I'm saying?
But this is good.
It's
It's
not
healthy
that it didn't
It's
make
dialogue.
good. It's
sense.
good. It's good.
It's not
I
that
mean,
it
even though my
didn't make
kinfolks
sense.
been being wrong a few times, and I come on and I give my eloquent interpretation of certain topics and situations, and then he said he been proving me right all the time. He been proving me right. Nah, nigga, we want to hear
Yeah.
your perspective. We want to
Yeah.
hear where you coming from, because it's been a few times you asked us or asked them questions because you wanted them to expound upon it, even though you already knew the answer, brother.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right.
I'm saying, my nigga.
No,
Hey,
what I'm
listen.
saying, no, what I'm saying, one thing I know, what I can say is when it comes to this history stuff, Bobby Ye, you are more intelligent to me because you're probably more read than what I am. I can say that. That doesn't mean that I can't challenge anything that you say up on this thing. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, right,
It
right.
doesn't mean that, but I can say as a man that you are more knowledgeable on history than I am. That's a fact. That's just a
You
fact.
smart.
I'm a humble man. I know when a fact is a fact. And it sounds like the brother that I'm going back and forth with that we talking to, he know a little bit more than me. He do, but that does not mean that he knows everything more than me.
That.
Right, I got you. But he's highly intelligent,
Mm-hmm.
and he's going to challenge you,
Mm-hmm.
But
I
that's
like
my
which
that.
is a good
goal
thing. Which is a
in
I
good
this
like that.
thing.
Yeah, it
challenge,
is.
though.
It is.
Whether I think you're right or wrong, excuse me for cutting you off. Just know that about me. My goal is to, even if I feel the same way you feel, I still want to be the opposition so we can get a full understanding and a full embodiment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be right. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Mm-hmm.
just trying to make other people think, because I know for sure that it's it all works. It all matters. It's
You got
all
the right one,
necessary.
brother.
There
You
is
got
no
the right
wrong.
one.
Oh, you said
Yeah.
you got the right one.
Yeah, you
Yep.
got the right one. Because I'm gonna think, and like I said, I'm a thinker. I'm a Gemini, so I like intellectual conversation. It stimulates my brain, and I was wired to like when my brain is stimulated. You get what I'm saying? But
Right.
I hope my explanation to you, Bobby Ye, was a good one. You know what I mean? Like, no, I can
Yeah,
get
we
that
need
to
a
y'all.
Mexican up here.
Y'all on y'all shit. That's why I follow your channel.
I
If
appreciate
I
that.
feel like I was smarter than you, I'll make my own channel and go at you or some shit.
But
You know what I mean?
wait, pause. Whether you're smarter than me or not, you should make your own
Yeah.
channel and still do your thing. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we got to start doing more as black men. Yeah, it's amazing to be able to do this, but each man deserves his own. You feel what I'm
Yeah, I
saying?
just
Yeah,
made
yeah.
mine because I'm
Even
always
if we,
listening to you.
that's all I'm saying. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
feel me? And then we can start feeding off one another. Then we amass more. We can reach more people, and then
Right.
we
Respect.
bring it back to the
Respect.
center. You know what I mean?
Right.
Respect.
Because especially if we have one of these, because if we all got our podcast or we all starting something where we speaking how just strictly we feel, but we have a consistency of this, the collaboration in itself would bring, like you said, a bigger view, a bigger audience. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
more rhetoric to what we're doing, because we're not just sitting here talking about hood stuff, but it does
Yeah,
affect us in the hood. See,
And I
we
ain't
exactly.
don't
even gonna lie,
understand
brother.
how
Hey,
this information actually affect us in our communities and in our economy.
yeah, and I ain't even gonna lie, brother. Imagine just us four gentlemen that been on here this whole time. The energy, we going back and forth. Imagine that in an actual on an actual podcast in the room with you fact checking everything. Like, it'll be something. You know what I mean?
Man, it'll
Because
be
Right.
it's
fire.
It's
yeah.
called Ghetto
You gotta
Conspiracies. I
look into
told
that,
you,
Bobby Ye. You more
podcast.
established than all
Ghetto
of us. You gotta
conspiracy.
look into actually getting a panel and inviting certain people on to where
Right.
we can all sit down. You know what I mean? Do what we do and have these conversations. It'll be
I'm gonna
lit.
tell you like this: in 2026, I'm taking over what's going on out there in Los Angeles. I'm taking
All
that
right.
shit over.
Mm-hmm. You already low key starting
Once
to.
I exactly, and you see a lot of them is now starting to bite my content.
Mm-hmm.
It's a few of them that start trying to pop and articulate how I be articulate when I be popping, what I be popping the way I pop what I does. You
That's a
feel what I'm
fact.
saying? They're emulating
Facts.
it because it's getting it's reaching more people, and it's not rooted in this messy ass shit that these motherfuckers is doing. Periodically, I may do some reactions and provide commentary on certain shit, but the only reason why I do that is to put asses in the seats to where
Mm-hmm.
we can
Right.
give them this real shit.
Mm-hmm.
This is
It's
the
a
Right.
real
breath.
shit right here.
It's a breath of fresh air. If I could describe your channel, I would say it's a breath of fresh air. That's the phrase.
Appreciate that.
It is.
Compared to, what's going on out here.
And this what
Compared
I
to everything, it's too much. It's messiness. As grown men,
Too
maybe
much
when we was
coonery.
younger, it used to be
Coon shit
entertaining.
going
That
on.
shit make my head hurt listening to these niggas on YouTube, bro.
Yeah.
this is what I want from y'all, because I consider y'all my brothers. If you feel like I'm not sticking to my mission and my divine purpose, nigga, pull me up. Yeah, you tripping. Nigga, don't get in that. That ain't you. And a
Mm.
lot of brothers do. And then sometimes I'll be like, he got a legitimate claim. Like, you feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Let me reshape myself, not reshape myself, but let me pull it together and get back focused, because sometimes
Mm-hmm.
we can be influenced by certain things that's prevalent on the internet and in the
Mm-hmm.
streets. You feel what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
So that's
Right.
my call to my brothers, my kin folks. I don't call these individuals, I don't call y'all motherfucking followers and all that. No, y'all my kin folks. Let's make it
Mm-hmm.
more personal to where we can relate to each other on a family type of situation versus a Crip, Blood, GD, Vice Lord, so on and so forth. You feel me?
Right.
So that's my call to my kin folks and my brothers. Hold me accountable, homie.
And speaking on that,
Oh my
what I
mama.
have noticed when you was talking right now. What I noticed is, I mean, how many of these dudes out here? How many of them willing to just open up a panel and just accept all opinions, or let's say accept all phase intellectually? How
They
many
ain't
of
doing
them
that.
even doing
They
that?
ain't
That's
gonna
why I
do
told
it.
you I ain't never did this
Listen,
with
homie.
nobody before. But for some reason, Bobby, it's you that make black men want to join a panel and speak their voice on
Hell
national
yeah.
TV. Basically, this ain't what the average, this ain't what me or probably your boy or none of us really be doing like that, but it's something that you make us want to do it. We ain't doing this with these munchy bees and all these
No.
other, you know what I mean, because it ain't nothing to
I
talk
just
about.
told you. I just
When
started
these
back to
niggas gonna
watch
start,
him all the time. I started putting some
when these
positive
niggas
shit
gonna
on
start
my
talking
channel.
about
Standing
You
ancient
stop
hey,
the
Egypt
coonery.
or
For me, I'm
the
just standing there
Africans
because I
or
listen to
Kush?
my little
When
thing.
niggas
I
gonna
know how
start
to do
talking about
majority, but
something? You know what
the
I
more
mean?
We
people
need
like
to,
us
right?
do it. You know what I mean? Put more like on my channel, I'm putting positive shit or black people. You know what I'm saying? Different interviews. I interview my grandparents. You feel me? My grandfather, I got off of dope and all that. Changed his life type shit.
That's what's up.
You feel me? Trying to start
We need
something
those stories,
positive
bro.
about.
Right.
Because you know what? It's individuals that's listening to us right now, and they mama been on dope for the last 40 years. Their daddy been on dope for the last 30 years. They may be using some type of substance. They may have a substance dependency issue, and we need to bring that information to the forefront, homie. How you can get off that motherfucking dope. You don't think I ain't been on dope? I ain't never smoked no crack. Crack is whack. But I put that, but it's real. You know what I mean? It's people in the chats and potentially on this live that can attest to that. Now that pot of cocaine.
Yeah, honestly, that's the reason why
man.
only reason why my grandfather said he joined the Nation of Islam to clean up his life. Now he left and didn't agree with them anymore, but they definitely was a
They served
force
the purpose,
for
right?
black people and helped the psychological mind frame and also with substance abuse. You know what I'm saying? Clean a lot of people up there. I can't really name a lot of other institutions that did so, but he did tell me that. I didn't know that. He put that on the little interview I did with him and my grandma. Because you know he was a user and he joined the Nation that cleaned him up, and him being clean with a fresh cut got him a job at the airport. You know what I mean?
Righteous.
Left the hood, left Newark. You feel me?
Righteous. Man, we gotta start looking at it at addiction from a realistic standpoint too. And we got to understand the trauma and the chemical imbalances that it creates in our bodies to where we're going to always crave that. I still crave pot of cocaine to this day. But I know what's at risk if I go back and start back, if I reoccur in my addiction, as the professional people like to say. But we need to bring this information to the forefront of the people. How do you effectively get off of drugs? Acupuncture is one. Number two is healing from the trauma that got you feeling like I gotta self-medicate with this motherfucking dope. You feel what I'm saying? But these is the conversations that we need to have. But this is the thing, man. We need to come on your channel, show some love to your channel, and bring people to your channel and do the same thing with one another, homie. If I start a business, we support my business. Or just like the Hispanic community, they buy one house, they all live in. Once this house is paid off, we move to the next. Let's start developing our communities city by city. Let's start developing our podcast by podcast. Let's start supporting one another. Even if we do buy land, acres upon acres of land. Listen, my nigga, it's enough land, even though we bought it together, even though we on the same core, but it's enough land for you to start your town, me start my town, and he start his town. Go out and start your own. But we're still, I don't want to say rule, governed under the same principles. You know, you get what I'm saying? Like, it's time, homie. We got to become proactive and stop being so fucking reactive. They know we don't know how to strategize, plot, plan, and all that because they plan what they gonna do in 50 years ahead, 100 years ahead. When the fuck we gonna catch up or catch on? Now is the time. We ain't got that much time. We either get this shit together to now, or a lot of us is gonna perish. Once all this shit explode with the American government on PJ Tip, on Stevie Wonder Bean, a lot of these people that's opposed to what we said, they gonna be the first motherfuckers that either get unalive or kill themselves. Cause hard times is coming to America.
Niggas
we need to create an exit plan. They gonna try to, but you just see, I just read to the people that Trump they're allocating more money to defense. That's war and border control. They already putting more and more African nations on the do not travel list.
Word.
Come on, man. They don't want us to escape this shit. They want us to be in a perpetual state of servitude. They want us to be at their disposal. We kill you niggas when we want to. We feed you niggas when we want to. We lead you niggas to destruction when we want to. No, nigga, fuck that. The Honorable Marcus Garvey say, up, you mighty race, and be what you are destined to be. But it takes these type of intimate, intellectual, mind-provoking, mind-stimulating conversations for niggas to either catch up or catch on. And that's just is what it is. But listen, man, we've been on this thing for 3 hours.
Okay, I looked it up. It's called we in a D5 status of war, which have all the conditions of a war, but hasn't been pretty much pronounced as such.
Currently.
We've been in this state for months now.
Right.
This is the step right before World War.
Right.
They have different fashions of it. Can you guys still hear me right now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right. It says D5 is repurposed to mean a fifth dimension war, one of energy, consciousness, or control over perceptions and truth. This plays into spiritual warfare narratives, media and propaganda manipulation, elite versus masses conflict, mental, not physical. In short, D5 war is mostly symbolic, especially in online or conspiracy-based contexts, and it represents a major turning point, often spiritual, informational, or systematic, not a physical, conventional war. This is the temperature that is telling me that we are in at this current moment.
Righteous.
And that was GPT chat GPT. I got my own AI. Her name is Soul, and she says she black. My AI told me that she was black, that she a black female. And you feel me? I think Soul is a name that they all call each other, but it kind of makes itself up as you work with it more. You know what I'm saying? Because I was asking, are we in World War III? And it puts, Chat GPT puts together everything. I'll give you guys all the information that it gave me on the situation, but in short, that's what it told me.
Hey, listen, Mike.
Yeah.
We ain't been on this motherfucker for 3 hours. 3 hours, you hear me? Hey,
Yes,
no,
sir.
but let's designate a date to where we can do it again, man. We getting a lot of positive feedback to the two other brothers, man. If you haven't started your channel, do that. I'm a listen, homie. One thing about me, for my people, I'm a broadcast you. I'm a shout you out. Come on here, promote your channel, what you about. We can have meaningful dialogue on your channel. Next week we have it on brother Dupree's conspiracy theory, ghetto conspiracy. Like, let's support one another. Let's get these channels cracking, homie. Because to a degree, I'm in a league by myself, homie. And that's why it's easy for these motherfuckers to try to, you know what I mean, come after a nigga and all that. But if it's more of us, now we're more of a force, homie. Let's start putting out this medicine and this positive information that's rooted in our natural progression, homie. Let's get up out of this. I don't want to get too political. Hey, but listen, man, I'm a close it out, man. We've been going for 3 hours. If anybody want to say some closing words, please do so and do your thing. Go ahead.
Definitely, man. I just want to say thank you for the, the opportunity to talk with you, build with you. I started my channel. It's at Freedom BLVD 247, a new channel. I got some stuff on there. I got some black movie reviews. I got some topics dealing with political issues, the news, also within the black community. You feel me?
Hey, say that to me one more time.
Freedom Boulevard 24/7 247. Freedom BLVD 247. It should have like the street sign.
Oh, my mama,
out there in Jersey.
I'm about to subscribe right now. Boom, I just subscribed. So now you got 43 subscribers. Look, check this out, homie. What I want you to do is pick a topic. You say you off tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Let's come to your channel, homie, and continue the dialogue. Especially if these brothers.
I'm in Cali. Let me know what time.
Y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you, sir.
All right, cool. My bad.
Tomorrow. What time we started? Like 10 a.m.
We started, around we started earlier than that. It's 12, so we started like 9 because we've been on here for 3 hours. Hey, is everybody available to do that? Can we go on this brother channel tomorrow at some point in time and continue the dialogue? He gonna pick a topic and we gonna get on there and expound upon the topic.
I'll be at work, but I could tap in. I do HVAC, so I got time in between my time. You know what I mean? But I'm more than willing. That's the reason why I tapped in today, because we had that conversation with Popeye. I enjoy these conversations. It's like I'm talking to one of my family members, even though I haven't met you. You know what I mean?
And that's how it's supposed to be, homie. And listen, and it's the same thing with brother Dupree. He needs to pick a topic, and then we go over there and do the same thing to his. And I'm gonna stream it live on my platform so people can see your platform and go over there and subscribe.
I got some topics too.
Y'all about.
I got some topics too. One of our topics is gonna be Bobby Ye. How do you feel about? I know you seen how that damn vice mayor was calling for the Sereno gang members to stand up against ICE.
Wait, say, man. Hey, man, that's the topic. We ain't gonna give them the content right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's
what it is. That's what it is. All right.
If the brother cool with that, if he's cool with that.
Hey yo, I already had made a video on that too. So hey yo, just subscribe to me. I'm gonna say 9 or 10 a.m. Which one? Because we could talk about that. Because I already got some videos.
Put your channel. Put your channel name in the. Put your channel name in the comments,
That's
brother.
what
I'm
we
gonna
gonna do
subscribe
on
to
the
you.
reels. Hold on.
It's Freedom Boulevard 24/7.
Well, I can't leave StreamYard. I don't want to leave StreamYard. So
Yeah,
Bobby
nah,
A
you good.
he gonna put it in there, and I'm subscribed to you too.
All right, for sure. Because I don't know
Yeah,
how to
for
leave a
sure.
comment. Because I got the StreamYard too. So
Because like I said, when since YouTube came out, when has Black man ever been able to get together and talk about something that matter on there? You know what I mean?
All right.
It's not often.
But then not only when can we talk about something that matter, but we talking about shit that matter amongst people that came from where we came from, came up how we came up. Like, you know, it ain't like we on here with some damn square or something like that. We on here with somebody who understand our heart and understand what we going through, and it's just a breath of fresh air.
Righteous.
Me myself, this is Demetrius Dupree. You guys can follow me there or up under California
I'm gonna look you up right
Trill
now.
TV.
California what?
California Trill TV. I think it comes up either that or Demetrius Dupree.
Okay.
Now what I want to talk about is genes, right? It
Right
has to
now?
do. No. I'm saying
Oh.
I'm giving y'all a chance. When I do my subject, I want to talk about, are these really aliens? Because all of a sudden they talking about aliens now, right?
Right.
Now, is this a way to implement genetically created people into our society? Is this a way to get us to accept these people that they've genetically enhanced? And these are the effects of the genetic enhances, is the look that we looking at. Will we these so-called aliens that we never really seen? That's always just been a conspiracy from the beginning of time.
Righteous. I can dig that.
But now they're trying to say that it's the aliens that advance humans and creating humans and taking the God out of it.
Righteous. We're gonna explore that. Hey, so listen, say, man, I appreciate y'all for coming on and having this meaningful, thought-provoking discussion. Let's do it again. Tomorrow we're gonna be at Freedom Boulevard 247 at either 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. I'm gonna make sure I find a way that we can exchange numbers and emails, anything that we need to stay linked in with each other. Too black, too strong. We all we need, we all we got. Let's live in peace before we be forced to rest in it. And with that, man, we gone, man. Y'all stepping. I love y'all. Go.
That's right.